Dal, Coons, what'd you take away from last night?
Oh, I think we got the result that we probably went in expecting, that a undermanned and probably less experienced team in the Giants. I thought they were, before we move on to the Cats, I thought the Giants were as good as they could be. I thought they were brave. I thought they never gave up, particularly coming back late when it looked like it was over. They had that last spurt and particularly started through the midfield and then got some really good goals. I thought the turning point in that particular passage was the Josh Kelly goal, the Josh Kelly kick that landed on the goal line, bounced pretty much straight up in the air. A free kick was paid. Would have gone to 14 points at that stage. Ultimately goes down the other end of the ground and makes goals kicked by the Cats, which goes out to 26. But I think I've got a lot of respect for Geelong, for their ability to put themselves in this situation year after year. This has been going for 15-odd years now. And that's all you can ask for from a player's perspective. Just give this playing group, and they've earned the right to keep pushing until it no longer works. And at this stage, I still think it is working. So I was really impressed with their collective last night. Joel Selwood, once again, didn't have his biggest game. Paddy Dangerfield once again didn't have his biggest game. But as a collective, finals football, weighted numbers, they got the job done. I thought it was an impressive performance as a whole.
Well, they did last night what Port Adelaide didn't allow them to do, and that is control the tempo of the game. They want to, and it is boring at times watching Geelong. Sorry, Hutto and Jared.
Oh, yeah.
the way that they play is so safe in the back half, and it didn't work for them against Port Adelaide because their pressure was enormous. Even when they switched the footy, they turned it over and got scored against. But GWS allowed them to slow the tempo down and control the game. They were back over 90 marks last night. They were in, I think, 72 against Port Adelaide, and Port Adelaide had over 100 marks. So they controlled the game against Geelong. I thought Geelong controlled the game against the Giants. I don't like the way that they play, GWS. They are an inside, hard, contested side who don't play fast attacking football enough until they needed to, and they kicked 3 in a row, and they looked like a completely different side. Now, that is through necessity because they had to throw caution to the wind because they were so far behind. That's what they had to do. I don't understand why they don't play like that more often, because they have the weapons to do it. They have the hardness inside, and they have the run on the outside, led by Lachie Whitfield. They go outside a lot when I think they should come inboard more. And I think that, and I've been critical of not Leon's coaching, but Leon's ball movement and the way that they've played for a number of years now. So the game GWS against Sydney, we were talking pre-game. Now, generally you would think this is the run, the Lamborghini-style GWS Giants against the hardened Bloods culture of Sydney. But it was flipped last week. So it was an inside, contested GWS side against a running, young, enthusiastic Sydney team. So I'd like them to play faster. I'd like them to play more attacking. I don't. It looks good when they do it. They don't do it for 4 quarters, and Geelong controlled the footy last night.
I agree with parts of that, Coons, and you're spot on. I think that the Giants' point of difference can be their ball movement. And I'm with you. I don't think they've played to their strengths. And yes, it may expose themselves on turnover, but their point of difference is their talent. It's a really dangerous word in football because most players have talent, but they've got more than anybody. And I just don't think that they play a style of football that accommodates to what their list currently is. Yes, they are really hard inside, and it's been a change, and we have this general feel that there's still the tsunami that run and spread and they don't win it on the inside. No, they're a hard-nosed team. But you're right, I don't think on turnover they're aggressive enough, particularly with their ball movement. It doesn't bring in the players that you think would really adapt and love that style of football. And I thought Lachie Whitfield was superb last night. Under the pressure of a game, slippery conditions, up against it because the Cats are coming. He was over the football time and time again. I thought he was significant. But once again, it's hard to win any final when you don't have your best players there. And that was last night, but this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah,
They've really had their anywhere near their best 22.
It really hurt them last night early, didn't it? Not having really targets and ways to kick goals last night.
As soon as I saw that Jesse Hogan was out, I became really worried. One, for how I thought the game would go, but more importantly, how my multi-bet would go. Because I had the Giants at the line, and as soon as Hogan was out, I think it was 17.5. So it was pretty reasonable. And Jesse Hogan has become a really important focal point so quickly for that forward line. Played really well in his first final. And I could tell the first 5 minutes they had 4 or 5 opportunities inside 50. 4 forwards are up too high. They had no one to kick to. And Geelong love to sit back and they love to intercept and they prey on the high ball that comes in. So the ball use wasn't great from the Giants going in, given that they only really had Himmelberg as their main key forward.
Where will they finish next year, do you think, the Giants?
7th.
Oh, jeez, we're already going there, are we, Hutto? God, I'm still trying to work out what's happening in 25 minutes, and Hutto's already wanting 12 months' time.
Are they going up or down?
They'll be holding.
I think they go up.
I can't see them having a huge influx. The other bit I just want to touch on in regards to last night's game is, from a Geelong perspective, is we use this word connection. The connection and the attention to detail when Tom Hawkins is leading or has a one-on-one to put it to their advantage was significant. And he turned the tables on what happened when he played Taylor last time.
It's just showing on the tally a Furphy unbelievable moment. And this is when Simon Beasley was against the Brisbane Bears, and I think they all jump on each other's shoulders here. I reckon
Yes,
Lawrence
they make
Shackey
the
was one
pyramid.
of them. Yeah.
That's excellent. Coons, have a
Someone's run
great
across the
call.
mark. This is outrageous scenes.
You're due next door. Enjoy your call, Coons.
Thank you.
We'll settle in for the preview for the warm-ups for Rheem. Install a Rheem, Australia's favourite in hot water. Do you have your eyes on a brand new car? Go ahead and experience the convenience of buying your brand new Hyundai online with Hyundai's Click to Buy. Visit the Hyundai website to find your local dealer today. This is AFL Nation.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
Join the investment platform that's anything but stock standard. Self-Wealth's $9.50 flat fee promise means more profit in your pocket. So whether you're a passive investor looking for ETFs and index funds, or looking for the power to trade in both the ASX and US markets, we've got you covered on one intuitive platform. With no percentage commission fees and the security of CHESS sponsorship, it's your access pass to safe and secure investing. Selfwealth.com.au. You make dollars, we make sense.
Whether you're a die-hard Demon supporter or a Bulldogs tragic, every footy fan knows in finals there are no guarantees. If you really want to back a winner this September, back a camel. A thirsty camel, that is, with specials like Great Northern Super Crisp 24-pack just $47.99, or Jim Beam White Double Serve and Canadian Club Premium 10-packs only $43.99 this week. Find your local bottle shop at thirstycamel.com.au. T's and C's apply. Hydrate responsibly.
There are different kinds of love. You can love your partner, your sport, your car. It's all different. But if you can't say, I love my pillow, well, I feel sorry for you. People who sleep on the Aussie-made Spinalese pillow can honestly say they love their pillow. Neck pain, headaches, snoring, the Spinalese pillow changes the way that you sleep forever, but make sure it's not an imitation. What you need to do to grab your Spinalese pillow now with free delivery, just go to spinaleze.com.au. That's spinaleze.com.au. It'll change your life.
The all-new Hyundai Tucson is here, and it's as futuristic as it looks. The Tucson is packed with advanced technology.
This is a priority message from the future. All Hyundai Tucsons are the property of 2045. Several pieces of technology contained within the Tucson are banned at any time before 2032. Any all-new Hyundai Tucsons will be confiscated.
All-new Hyundai Tucson. Tomorrow wants its car back.
The Kogan Money credit card is full of value with no annual fees, amazing rewards and a complimentary Kogan First membership giving you cheaper deals and free shipping at Kogan.com. And right now you can earn up to $400 Kogan.com credit when you meet the spend requirements. Plus earn up to 2 cents worth of Kogan.com credit for every dollar of eligible spend. So make the switch to a better value credit card today at koganmoney.com.au/footy.
Offer ends September 30th, 2021. T's and C's credit criteria apply.
Product issuer and credit provider Citigroup Pty Ltd.
Whether you're shivering in the winter chill or sweltering in the heat and humidity, there's only one thing you need to remember. When the temperature hits you, just get a Fujitsu. Fujitsu has an extensive range of efficient air conditioning solutions to meet the heating or cooling requirements of a single room or multiple rooms within your home. And for 4 years in a row, Fujitsu has been voted by Australians as the most trusted air conditioning brand. So remember, when the temperature hits you, just get a Fujitsu. It's Australia's favourite air.
Reader's Digest Trusted Brand Survey 2021.
When they're on the road, truckies have no time to waste, so a flat tyre can be a real letdown. Fortunately, Tyre Right is a member of the best truck emergency roadside tyre service in Australia. So if you've blown a tyre, no matter where you are, give them a call and they'll get you back trucking fast. And they have Australia's largest tyre selection, including steer, drive, trailer and more. Say good day to your local Tyre Right store or call 138 168 to find out more. They won't be beaten on any advertised price. No trucking worries. TyreRight.com.au.
With destinations like the Great Ocean Road, your best adventures are right here in Victoria. Switch your electricity and gas to Red Energy on a Qantas Red Saver plan today and you'll get 15,000 bonus Qantas points plus 2 points per dollar on every energy bill you pay on time. Switch on to Red Energy now on 131 806 so you can switch off on a Victorian holiday later. Residential customers only. Eligibility criteria and conditions apply. Energy fact sheets available at redenergy.com.au/EFS.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
Dogs are about to emerge from the rooms and take on the challenge. Take on the challenge of the Lions at home in front of a raucous crowd that will be in for it. So whatever the Lions are feeling out of last week when they were well beaten by Melbourne at Adelaide Oval, they will be back in an environment which sent them surging into the top four when last they were there in those crazy pulsating scenes against West Coast. Gerard Whateley and Anthony Hudson to call it for you. Nick Del Santo is our expert, and they are a different conveyance at the Gabba to what they have been anywhere else.
Yeah, and that's sort of natural no matter where you've played the majority of your football. You just feel a little bit more comfortable there, and that's whether there's a crowd or there's not. Obviously, that really helps, and it'll help the Lions you would expect tonight, but there's just a feeling of calmness, and no matter where you are on the ground, that you have a sense of exactly the depth perception. And Koons touched on it a little bit earlier, that it's really easy when you've got an elevated position and you're looking over the ground, and it's really easy in the seats that we are and everybody will be tonight watching this game. But when you're in the heat of the moment, depth perception is a huge thing about actually making the right decision, putting the ball out in front, for example, for a leading forward, and how you minimise the damage, I guess, on the way back. And the Lions will feel comfortable. By saying that, I'm sure I haven't looked at the exact numbers, but the Dogs would have spent a bit of time up in Queensland last year, clearly during the COVID situation. So they'll be telling themselves those stories as well. This isn't completely foreign to us. We were here last year. We've performed well, and they'll be really harping on last week's performance. Now, we spoke to Rowan Smith earlier, and we used the word mojo. So whether they use that terminology, I wouldn't suspect, but they'll be using that sort of story or that narrative to say, hey, this is where our best football is. Look what we did in the second half when we won the contested football. This is what our best football looks like tonight, but we've got to start from the first bounce, not at half-time.
Do you know you never lost a semi-final, Dal?
No, I didn't know that.
In the ones you played. So you can hear the Bulldogs are out. They'll be warming up for Ream. Ask your plumber to install a Ream steady, hot and strong.
Let's just stop there. No. Let's just stop there, because if you keep going throughout the final series, there's a few that I lost.
We'll just stick with semi-final. So 2004, you'd lost the qualifying
beat
final.
Sydney Swans?
Yep. You'd lost to the Lions and then beat the Swans by 51 points. That was a proper rebound, top four team, whacked the other team coming
and then lost
through.
to Port Adelaide by 4 points or something.
I told you we wouldn't.
Yeah, okay, let's stop
talk
there.
about those.
A little walk down memory lane. All right, we won't go any further.
In 2008, you'd lost the qualifying final to Geelong, and you played Collingwood.
Yeah.
Beaten by 34 points.
And we'll stop there.
Had control pretty well all night.
Yep.
And then played in a couple with the Kangas.
That's correct. 2014, we played Geelong at the MCG.
Beat them.
After beating the Bombers in the first week of that final series.
That was a big up and down game, that one, wasn't it? Didn't the Bombers get ahead and then you came back?
That's correct.
Or the other way around?
We were really poor in the first half, and then Frank the Tank came out. Drew Petrie got a bit of a wriggle on. And then in 2015, Gerard, we lost the first week, and then we went to Sydney, and we beat the Sydney Swans that didn't have Buddy Franklin, and I reckon Kurt Tippett had a day off as well, off the top of my head.
Yeah, so you'd won the elimination final against
won the
Richmond.
first one. We had to, yep.
And then walked up to Sydney and beat them by 26 points.
That's right, because the year before, I reckon Buddy and Tippett both played. I reckon we lost by about 78-ish off the top of my head. They gave us an absolute thumping.
This weekend is often not probably the quieter of the 4 weekends, isn't it, usually? I mean, in the old days, the semi-final, when it was a final five, the first semi-final and the second semi-final was so often a preview to the grand final. It was some cracking seconds. They usually had a Waverley in our youth too.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're a little bit blessed with tonight, because these are two teams for a lot of the year have been considered top four teams.
The Dogs were top two,
absolutely,
weren't they?
and they're meeting a little bit earlier in the final series than what we would have expected a month or so ago. So I think we're poised for a brilliant game of football.
The point to raise your history was to say you've lived both sides of this coin and prevailed on both sides of it. Twice as the beaten qualifying finalist to straighten up and then have emphatic wins to go and to reinforce your position as a top four team, and then twice harnessing the momentum and bouncing teams in straight sets.
Football clubs are brilliant, Gerard, at coming towards for a common goal and forgetting what has happened previously. So for tonight, Brisbane Lions, they can't remember what happened last week. Control what you can control, and as they run out onto the ground right now, you've got 2 hours of your actions to show your teammates and your fans what it means to you. Take responsibility for what you can. And on the flip side, if you're the Western Bulldogs, you're harnessing last week. Once again, this is who we are. We've got our mojo back. This is what it feels like. Let's do it again for 2 hours.
All right, so let's delve into some of the specifics here. The weather report for Fujitsu, Australia's favourite air. It does look like a lovely night in Brisbane. It is 18 degrees off the top of 24 and the low is 13. So some gorgeous weather being experienced in Brisbane at the moment. When the temperature hits you, just get a Fujitsu. So everybody says, Eric Hipwood said it, even though he plays up forward, he said, it'll be one in the midfield. So when you do line up these,
he knows it as well.
Won by marking forwards. When you line these two midfields up, how do you go about splitting them?
Well, the first thing I'll say is I would say both coaches will back their midfield in. They're not depleted or they don't run deep enough for any team to say, hey, we're on the back foot already. We need to minimise the damage of the opposition. When you've got the Brownlow medalist from a couple of years ago, Lachie Neale, having 46 disposals last week, he's in brilliant form. So you allow him to go head-to-head. But the responsibility of all midfielders on both sides will be to balance that out. You can't play pick and choose or roulette football tonight. It's too costly at this level. Goals are of a premium, and you get that feeling, and you'll see it in their actions, that they realise how important every goal is because it has more significance in these huge games. So I think there's a big opportunity in the ruck, that who can actually control the ruck, and it's more than just the tap work, it's probably the around the ground. Who can control the contested marking and the dominance, and God forbid I say this, bringing the ball to ground when you have to, Joe, particularly when you're outnumbered. That could have as bigger influence as anything in regards to this midfield competition tonight.
Tagging. So Justin Lepich says, who tags wins. So he thinks if you've got the nerve to go and tag Liberatore, it's a huge advantage to the Lions. And if you go and tag Lachie Neale, that's one of the key measures to winning tonight. Which runs against conventional wisdom, I think.
Yeah, and it runs against that theory that I was just going with, that both teams will back their team in. Now, it wouldn't be surprising if they have a more defensively minded midfielder, maybe an individual. The Josh Dunkley role of last week was exceptional, and it's not a lockdown. It is you be really accountable for a particular player. Lachie Neale, for example. If he is running hot, you need to minimise his influence for a period of time. But if you have the opportunity to win the football, coaches allow everybody. If you think you can win it, who am I to say don't go get it? Put your nose over it, work through the contest and come out the other side and actually expose that other player for not playing defence at all.
So the Dogs rove to a losing ruck. Can McInerney do enough to really punish them, either in the middle or around the ground?
I think he's improved out of sight over the last couple of years. He had a low base, to be brutally honest, but I love what he's been able to do. He might be as significant as anybody because of that around the ground stuff. We've seen Tim English do it. We know he can roll forward. We know he can do it through the arcs. But can McInerney do it? We know he has done it, but can he do it tonight? When there is no tomorrow if you get it wrong. When you've got that feeling inside, and we touched on it earlier, you got a little man on your shoulder saying, don't go out in straight sets. Don't be the one that loses it for your football club again tonight. And you've gone out 3 years when you thought you were around the mark of winning the flag. So these are all the emotions and the conversations that players are having with teammates or even in their own head. It can get a bit dark in there at times, Jared.
Sheer star power. So Kane Corns holds the view that Bontempelli has to be best man on ground.
Yeah,
if the Dogs are going to win, it's got to be 3 votes Bontempelli.
Not far off that. I believe he can be the difference. We know how significant he can be. He's been a little bit quieter. I thought he was okay last week without being exceptional. We've seen him what exceptional looks like. And the thing about Marcus Bontempelli that few others have at this time of year is time. That the rush and the feeling that you were about to get tackled or pressure, I need to get that ball forward. Hence why Coons was saying you need to have those tall pillars. Because when you have that sense that you're about to get run down, you want to kick along. Marcus Bontempelli doesn't have that feeling a lot. He knows that he can take a little shuffle to his left, get onto that preferred foot and put the ball into the space, or at least pick the right option going forward. He could be the difference just based on his poise. The Scott Pendlebury sort of player in finals stands out more than during the regular season.
Lachie Neale's had a mixed season. Last year he was season high for everything.
Yeah.
Disposals all the way through. And to a degree, Melbourne they seemed unfussed by that. Now, whether that's real or not, is once you've had that performance, can you build on it the next week?
I don't think he has to build on it. The conversation will be, is he damaging enough for the opposition to say, hey, actually, we need to take full responsibility for this guy. And it's a little bit like the Tom Mitchell when he's played the Pies in the past and they've lost, and Bucks will come out and say, yeah, but we were winning. So why are we changing things when we are winning?
But it was last year, wasn't it?
It's a really
He was a damaging player last year.
Yeah.
And this year, interrupted by injuries, never quite got the form back.
It's a really interesting conversation from a coach's perspective about what's the tipping point to, no, this is starting to hurt us, but we are winning. You just want to take that thread out. If it is going to happen, who's going to generate it? And it might be Lachie Neale. I looked at his performance last week, and even though they lost, that 46 was death by 1,000 cuts. It wasn't impactful, and it wasn't damaging every single time. And I know that he was... I mean, Jared Lyons had 27 disposals, Rich had 27, but as a collective, it wasn't as impactful as what they have been at different times this year.
Warm-ups are happening for Ream and Stoolarima, Australia's favourite in hot water. And then at either end, neither side makes terrific sense necessarily. So up front for the Dogs is they did have Norton started to fly at everything again the longer that last week went, which was interesting because it got wetter and wetter, and he seemed to grow back into the idea of what he had been prior to the concussion that he had in the back third of the season. Waitman kicked the bulk of their goals. They all came from free kicks, which became a discussion in its own right. Shaki was brought in right at the end, and he played forward rather than back.
Against his old team again tonight too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Scouted him in the end.
And then English is clearly going to spend at least half of his time forward.
Well, you'd like to think they're going to try and stretch them. So with English and Norton, that has to soak up. Say it's Payne or Adams, one of the two, and Andrews has to play on one of those two. So how do they... And you've got the Starcevic role, who's that sort of hybrid, who can defend the hybrid role. So
does he play on
Waitman? Do you just try and minimise what they saw last week? I can't see Waitman doing that. That was exceptional for a small forward, and take away how he got the goals. Unfortunately, that was just a reality. He got 4 from free kicks and he kicks 4 goals, so well done to him. But to Starcevic,
Gardner as well, isn't he?
Yeah. And then you throw in Payne, as I've just touched on. So we sit here with, what do we got, 10 minutes to go?
Payne
and
has
still
to be forward, doesn't he? I mean...
I'm just not sold on that, Hutto.
No, I'm not either, but I think the
know,
fact that he's selected means that he's going to have to play.
Unless there's a feeling, let's just stretch them. Let's just overwhelm them with height, and under this pressure, let's just get the ball going forward, and we'll create the contest. As we heard Eric Hipwood speak about before, let's create a contest and get it to the ground level.
What does tonight mean for Luke Beveridge, do you think? Talked about Chris Fagan and Brisbane. What does it mean for Bevo?
I hadn't thought about that. It's...
Or does the fact that they won the final last week mean that now if he goes out, well, it's not too bad. They've made some ground. And
well, let me pose this one back to you, and just to give me a moment just to get my head around that a bit more. Are they going up from here? Will the Dogs be better next year, no matter what happens tonight or for the remainder of this year?
Well, they shouldn't be worse. They should get natural improvement from Norton and a few others.
We accept a poor performance, and I'll go back to say Bombers from last week because we know they are growing. I don't know if the Dogs are growing.
It'll still be a waste. It'll still be a wasted year from what they've achieved during the year. What wasted might be the wrong term, but
missed opportunity.
It's a missed opportunity if they don't get to the preliminary final. Really, when you're top 2 for a lot of the year, you beat Melbourne. In the back half of the season. They've had a few injuries. Their structure's been disrupted, but then most of the teams have.
Would you say the same thing about the Brisbane Lions? If they are to go out tonight, have they had a wasted year and a missed opportunity? Who's got more at stake tonight?
No, I think the loser is a big loser tonight.
Yeah. I can't split them.
The Lions have finished 3 years in a row in the top 4 and can't get back to a prelim like that. That's just not meeting your mark. And the Bulldogs, for what Hutto said, is for the whole year they were sizing up grand final. They lived in the top 2 and then collapsed later, and they're still improvising. And Bevo's the best improviser that there is, but by this stage they're still improvising.
Do we cut them any slack or give any consideration for the significant players that have been out for both teams in the last month or so? We'll go back 7 weeks for Hipwood.
You have to take that into account, and Josh Bruce has clearly been a big out for the Bulldogs. It's interesting that Jamara hasn't. Basically, Bevo said once Bruce was out, Jamara wasn't going to play. Now that's you'd think if one of the key forwards goes out and you're another key forward or a tallish forward, that would mean you'd definitely play. But he basically said once Bruce was gone, Jamara was gone. Fascinating, really.
You posed the question to me, and I just, out of curiosity, how do you feel about who would come into this game with more confidence about putting in a good performance off the back of one team losing, one team winning?
Well,
Who would you rather be?
I think I would rather be the Dogs, but the kicker is the environment. But I think I would rather be the Dogs.
I know.
Yeah, that was after last week. I know I actually usually just go back to how I felt on the siren at the end of last week, and I felt the Dogs. I remember I texted someone about it, and they went, no, don't. And I thought, oh, okay, that changed my mind straight away.
You guys have been doing this for a couple of decades. Do you always have this feeling before a semi-final night?
So I'm measuring that the Bulldogs were a better side than the Lions 22 out of 23 weeks.
Agreed.
So that's actually why I've defaulted back to the Dogs.
Okay.
It is unusual for that, isn't it? It really is.
It's incredibly unusual, these circumstances, and it's why it's perfect that they're playing each other. There's a pause in proceedings, unmissable moments for Drinkwise. Choose to drink wise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. It's a full Gabba as they come to observe the formalities over on the wing. Marcus Bontempelli's muttering to himself as we join.
Welcome you to the first semi-final between the Brisbane Lions and the Western Bulldogs. The AFL acknowledges the Yugara language group, the traditional owners of the land we gather on today, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. We acknowledge we play our great game on this land and respect the cultures of all First Peoples, their contribution to our nation and contribution to the game of Australian rules football. The AFL invite you to direct your attention to the big screens for the Welcome to Country. Players and umpires for the Australian national anthem.
It's a ground that's known some big occasions in recent times for footy. It's the final match of the season at the Gabba. The Lions looking to advance to a preliminary final against Port Adelaide, and the Bulldogs trying to spoil that party. Final stages of the warm-up for Ream. Ream steady, hot and strong. Where's your eye drawn, Dal, in the last minute or so?
My eyes were drawn to the attention and the intensity of both playing groups, and remembering that moment when you're standing there, it's the national anthem, you've just got this jitter, your toes are tinkling and you just want to get on the move, and that siren, the anthem finishes, you've got to sprint. You've just got to get that moment of energy out of your system as the two captains flip the coins. After everything we've said, as the Brisbane Lions win the toss and will kick to the right of your dial. After everything that we've said, and this doesn't go probably consistently with everything I've said, I'm going with the Lions.
Yep.
My only concern for the Dogs I see them winning the midfield battle marginally, but I just don't know how they're going to kick enough goals, and I can't see Cody Waitman kicking 4 again.
Nick Del Santo's final words for car sales. Sell your car the hassle-free way with Car Sales Instant Offer. Just the last time into the huddle. They met once this season. It was in Ballarat earlier in the year. The Dogs had that handsomely under control most of the way through. The Dogs had won the previous couple. The Lions had won the previous couple.
And those captains for both clubs, it would be something along the lines of just make your first contest your best contest. Get your hands on the football, control your emotions, don't give away easy free kicks. Don't let the opposition get some easy touches to get there or to get a sense of calmness through their group. Starts at the centre square bounce. We're speaking about the importance of the midfield group. They get their first opportunity to impact this football game as this ball is about to be bounced.
It seems Jack Payne was walking forward. He's yet to kick a league goal, and in a semi-final he has been handed one of the key post roles in a forward line. The opening bounce is pending for Tyre Power. 3 votes, big footy final sale now on AFL Nation. You with Anthony Hudson.
What a sight around the Gabba. Near capacity for this big semi-final. Brisbane and the Western Bulldogs. A lot of questions about who's going to start where. It's going to be Young in the middle in the ruck. He dances around the rim of the circle and charges in at Oscar McInerney. And they're into it. Oscar grabbed it. His kick was smothered by Liberatore, who was good enough follow-up with a handball to McRae, who dumps a high ball. Waitman will fly. He didn't mark. He's pitted against Starcevic. Norton has 3 lines to deal with as well as the footy. It was too much. It's going to be a ball up.
Looks like Starcevic has gone to Waitman.
Adams to Norton.
McInerney swallowed it down with his left hand, but McRae was able to get it out to Bailey Smith, who was good early last week. Kicks them inside again. A juggling effort from Hannon wasn't far away. He's against Birchall. He put his head down. He handballed to Bonapelli. He was forced just to handball to whoever was closest. That was Young. He was worried out of it by Bailey, who was happy to go with the Bailey Smith tackle and take it over for a behind. There's Bailey's everywhere, isn't it, whenever the Bulldogs are playing, and there's one for the Lions as well.
Little nip in the last quarter wouldn't go astray, perhaps.
Indeed.
At the throw in right half forward for the Dogs. McInerney brought it to grounds. Liberatore dragged off it and knocked off holding the ball. So Liberatore wrapped up by Lions.
They were standing shoulder to shoulder underneath the ruckman's nose, so it looks like they've been set against each other, so no direct tag, just really accountable inside midfielders.
Sideways to Birchall, who kicks into centre field. Just got it to Neal. He hand passed it away. The kick comes in the Cameron direction. Spoil made by Wood. Charlie's kept his footing. He's drawn a crowd. Fulton pulls it clear. He lofts it at the goal front. Danaher's coming from a long way back. He tried to knock it back into the field of play. It hasn't scored as a result. Across the face, it'll be thrown in a metre around from the behind post for Spitwater. That's what it does.
Jared, you were spot on. Jack Payne has gone forward. 197 centimetres and 101 kilogram.
Good start for Fulton. That was a nice pick-up.
That was lovely.
Kick inside. Thrown back in the pocket. He does the ruck work this time. Tapped it down and went straight to Caleb Daniel, who got a handball away to Bailey Dale, who skied one outside defensive 50, and Kadeen Coleman was good enough to stand underneath it and take the mark. He wants to give to Rich. He better watch out because Waitman was going for the full rundown tackle. He was able to handball to Adams, who scrounds to kick in to a very crowded forward pocket, knocked away from Lions and banged back out to the wing by the Dogs. It sits nicely for Starcevic, who had Coleman in his back pocket. He gave him a hand pass, then he lost control of the footy in the tackle play on the call. Lions tries to tidy up. Treloar tried to interfere. It's grabbed along the ground by Starcevic and eventually worked over the boundary line and out of bounds at half forward for the Lions.
AFL Nation tonight for Athena Home Loans. A couple of minutes to feel each other out.
Good to see someone ready for a handoff to Daniel Rich for once too.
Right half forward for the Lions. Shallow throw in. McInerney will get there unopposed. Neat tap to the back for McCluggage. She kicks inside 50. Bouncing ball well gathered by Dale in defence. Hand passes it away to Hunter. He's got McRae. Skips it across the turf to get it there. McRae offloaded as he kicks long down the line. Underneath, Rich had first play, left it behind. Waitman to Norton. He's tackled and he got his hand pass away, so he avoids giving away the free kick. It's back out of play again. Near the interchange gates, quick as they know, freightquickaz.com.au.
And already you can see a little bit of the fumbling and the pressure on, so the ability to stay calm and cool over that football, pick up the football, do the first part and then give off a clean handball afterwards.
No score yet. From the throw-in, McInerney had prior position. He had two hands to guide it, but it went straight to McRae, who flipped it out to Bontempelli, who steps inside Rich, ups the ante, aggressive kick in front of English. He let it bounce. That was no problem. Andrews, though, is a different story. He denied him the first time. English went and retrieved it. It's a skied ball for the Bont. And Rich has done it up, but Liberatore read the players a step ahead, and he dribbles a goal, the first of the night. Off the left boot of Tom Liberatore from 30 out through the vacant goal square. And there's an early nomination for the goal of the night. For instant windscreens, 132-444.
Well, it is currently goal of the night as it stands, Hutto.
Thank you.
Well, that's what Tom Liberatore does so well. He's clearly not the fastest player in the competition, but he just follows the ball and tracks it, and he just gets to consistently dangerous positions. Whereas that ball went to the pocket and kicked back in from English, there's Bontempelli in the right position for the attempted mark. And if it comes to ground, we know both teams have got some really likely small forwards. And that's what you love to see from Marcus Bontempelli, your best kick in the team. Feigning on the right foot, always coming back onto that preferred left. And then Libba front and centre doing the work at ground level. It's a great start from the Dogs. Running hot for Ream already. Jackson McRae's had 5 disposals.
A handful of minutes in the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts scoreboard. Dogs with the first goal. McInerney smashed it forward for the Lions, but it's cut off by Caleb Daniel at half-back. He's taken to ground. And the firm tackle of McCarthy and Danaher. They will hand it up to the secondary bounce inside the centre square. Up went Young early. McInerney is intent to bring this to ground and trickle it inside the 50. Neat little touch from Dale to keep it away from Fullerton. Ran into the tackle, lost the handle on the footy. Wood tidied it up, and the Dogs have got runners at half-back. If it sits, it nearly did. Actually, Hunter did well right against the boundaries. Managed to keep it in. Off to Bailey Smith, who was a bit too hasty with the kick. He overkicked the attackers and delivered it straight to Harris Andrews. There'd be a muttering or two in the box about that kick.
Yes, no doubt. Andrews took the mark and he handballs it to the feet of Lockie Neal, who gave it back to him, and he probably gives it back again to Neal. So not sure how much was gained. The Dogs didn't really close him out, though. So he kicks down the line. Payne flew, but Bulldogs are winning the ground ball war at the moment. They're winning it well. A hand pass threaded forward to Bailey Smith. He looks into the 50. He's gone wide to Waitman, who almost took the gully catch at full sprawl. It just got out of his grasp and went out of bounds.
We're already seeing the spread of the Dogs, their ability to win it in at the contest and then work it out to the outside. Bailey Smith with that electric speed. Just gives your forwards an opportunity to get a little bit of separation on their defender.
Dogs a goal already up their sleeve. They have it in the forward pocket from the throw in. Bontempelli got over the top of it. Neal split the contest. Helped out by Zach Bailey. A high ball, but the Dogs are well structured. And Lewis Young takes the mark. The re-entry is imminent, although the kick was short to Bailey. Dale too short to be paid a mark. Dale didn't panic, but his kick to Bontempelli was just a little bit off the mark. And in the end, the Bont's happy to submit and let it go over and out so they can get set up around another throw-in.
Last 3 kicks to the 50, they've squandered their entries. All the stats for safety steel sheds. Dogs have got it forward at the 50 for the throw-in. McInerney dominating the ruck at the moment, takes it clean, delivers up the wing. Again, it's a ground ball to be won. Danaher threw it up and coughed it up, although Dale gave it straight back, and Lyons crosses halfway for Brisbane. Payne takes the mark. He looks into centre field. It's an aggressive kick, and it didn't work as Dunkley got in front of Zorko and forced the turnover. Couldn't go as quickly as he probably would have liked. Oh, it's a howler. He's delivered it straight to Thornton. So one turnover begets the next. And Charlie's on the lead. Went one-handed, dropped the mark. Inexplicable stuff at the moment. Zorko fights hard, gives it to Neal. Hand pass to Thornton. Couldn't get it over the top of Williams. And they are rejected definitively. Dogs on the break through Bontempelli,
who kicks to Hunter. He's got the run of Smith. He ignored it. Well, he delayed it, so Smith gets closer to goal. It does give Brisbane a bit of time, but they haven't shut Waitman down. He ignored it and went for English, went for home, and that's poor forward of the centre 3 times really from Bailey Smith. Certainly 2 of his chances he's blown. There was, wow. Boy.
Well, both teams are missing.
You say it so I don't.
Yeah, both teams are missing their opportunities going forward of the football. Charlie Cameron going one-handed when 2 would have got the job done perfectly. And then for the Dogs going forward, they've got all the run. just not taking the percentage plays. Rich goes down the middle.
Oh, it's not a great kick. Dunkley got across to chop it off. Hand pass to Bailey Smith and now to Bontempelli. Couldn't break clear. Lyons saves the day. Wrapped him up. Wins holding the ball. Bailey claims the advantage through Robinson and then McInerney and now Lyons. Lovely kick onto the chest of Charlie Cameron. Or did I shortchange McCluggage?
McCluggage,
yes, that was a lovely kick when so many others have failed in the early minutes inside 50, and Charlie couldn't help but mark this time.
He had to use two hands because it was going to hit him on the chest if he didn't. And already both defences being exposed with that fast ball movement through the middle of the ground. That's a huge concern for both defences.
Charlie Cameron is in hot form in recent weeks, and he is tonight as he threads it straight through the middle from 40 metres out. The Lions get a settler. The Dogs 1-1, the Lions 1 straight on the Tyre Power scoreboard. 3 votes, big footy final sale now on.
Hugh McCluggage's number 1 goal assist player in the AFL, Dell, and he showed it there, didn't he?
Love for him to kick a few more goals as well, Hutto, on top of that, but you can't ask for anything more as he bursts through the middle of the ground, but none of that is possible if Jarrod Lyons doesn't chase down Bontempelli. One more step through that tackle and he's kicking inside forward 50, and often good things happen when the Bont has ball in hand. But on the flip side, once again, the exposure of both defences, not to have that support and stability behind the football, is a real concern. So it's Charlie Cameron versus Easton Wood, and they've pretty much got half of the Gabba to themselves to work into. That's a dangerous, dangerous sign from the Dogs, or for the Dogs' defence.
I love watching the replay there. Mitch Robinson was told by 2 teammates just to stop, slow down. He ignored them both.
Yeah.
And impetuously just went forward. We've got our executive producer, the Joel meter tonight, Bulldogs fan. We'll just keep an eye on how he handles the stress of finals football. McInerney tapped it to Berry, but he couldn't link up with Neil. Instead, it's English showing what he can do out of the centre, which is charge forward. He put it towards Treloar. Well done, Coleman. Until he was tackled by Vandermeer. And Vandermeer is going to get the free kick well inside the 50. Did well to win it, Coleman, but just wasn't quite aware of how close Vandermeer was.
Well, he went to ground as he was picking up the football. He did so well to win it, and just as he was getting to his feet to get rid of the football, knowing that he was going to be under pressure, it was a great close-down tackle.
So started the season so strongly, Vandermeer. Missed a fair bit of footy in the middle. Just his 9th game for the year, back in the team in recent weeks, and that's a really poor shot for goal. I'm sure he would agree from 30 metres out. 45-degree angle away to the left. So 1-2-8, the Bulldogs blown a few chances, and the Brisbane Lions are 1 straight 6. AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. That's the Tyre Power scoreboard. Your trusted tyre experts, a 2-point lead to the Doggies.
Rich into Birchall, back to Rich, takes the territory down the interchange wing. Danaher was being held by the jumper. The advantage, I reckon, will be taken. Berry up to Danaher, kicks it in the Charlie Cameron direction. It pitched and skipped away from him. Throw it in at left half forward.
Oh, it's out of the full.
So not much of a kick at all for Charlie. Inboard it's come to Caleb Daniel.
But what we saw again was Charlie Cameron isolated forward. Yeah. So happy for Danaher to get up the ground, try and expose the lack of speed for Easton Wood.
Daniel hemmed in on the boundary, measures the kick well for English, who leads McInerney up on this occasion. The Dogs' ruckman has it at half-back. He's told to get a wriggle on. He's got the kick on the 45 to Duray, which wasn't 15. He wrong-foots McCluggage and is able to work the kick beyond halfway. Nice mark taken by Shaki as he represents. So a kick mark build up from the Dogs this time. Liberatore wanted it on the short kick. Shaki instead slices it up to the 50 where Bailey Smith got met front on by Berry. It was entirely unnecessary, Dal, because the kick was over his head.
Yeah, he was unaware because he wasn't looking at the football, Jared. He thought that Smith was going to take the mark, so he took out the body, but there's no point doing that because it's a definite free kick no matter what.
Bailey Smith is too far out himself. He's going to lob it to the hot spot. What have they got? Norton flew. Neil underneath. Hand pass to Fulton. Just smacked it away for Bailey to try to deal with. Liberatore again. His second from an opportunistic snap. And he is right on the money early. The Dogs 2-2-14 lead the Lions 1 straight on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
That's his 14th goal for the year, Dale. I reckon 10 of them have been about like that. Yes. That's his specialty around goal.
But once again, he plays percentages. He knows he's clearly not a marking play, so where can he impact the game If it's a turnover, he's in a great corridor position to come forward and pressure the football, lock it in the forward 50. And if it dribbles out to him like it already has twice in this game, he gets onto that left leg and's got the ability to kick it across his body. He needs to be paid more attention and more respect in the forward 50 because at the moment, he has nobody on him. So he lays that initial tackle. Vandermeer lays the initial tackle and it bobbles out once again.
I'm flagging the decision not to tag Liberatore is a bad one thus far.
And there won't be many people that want to stand next to him right now because they'll be taking full responsibility. So as we look at this centre square bounce, it's Lions again.
A tap down. Well, Fulton had a second crack at it, but Libba forced his wheels to get onto the footy, but the umpire's deemed that he threw it.
And the Dogs are going to need these unusual goal kickers to get them over the line tonight. Last week it was Waitman with 4. Maybe it's Libba's turn.
A handoff to Birchall and then a rainmaker deep. There's 3 dogs in the air. Cameron versus Rorke-Smith. On the gap of turf. Brilliant hands from Zach Bailey on the slightly errant handball. Spinning through McCarthy. Surely through that. Gardner gets shunted. The ball came out the back to Giray. Quickly onto the left boot. Back to the wing. Great aerial prowess there by Andrews over his old teammate Shackey. Took the mark over to Coleman. He drills the pass. And Zach Bailey pops up in the pocket to take the mark.
Well, that's the really positive signs and the good Harris Andrews. We did not see that at all last week. It looks like he's already moving better. That was a huge hit from Charlie Cameron in the forward 50. Umpire just giving a little warning.
There was a pummel, wasn't it? A head down pummel. And Gardner's still feeling it. Zach Bailey. Big goals have been associated with him this year from 40 metres out. Gee, lucky he didn't do that against Collingwood. It was sharply to the left as he tugged it through for the first minor score for Brisbane. They're 1-1-7. The Bulldogs are 2-2-14. It's the midpoint of the opening term on AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans.
Caleb Daniel kicks in wide. Mark taken by Giray. Nice ball down the line to Williams. Slipped away from Berry, who toppled over. Williams takes he's balked the kick 3 times. Steps back around Berry, but he did run too far because he just kept coming back and forth and back and forth. He certainly took more steps than you're entitled to, but he hasn't gone anywhere.
Not taken a yard.
He's a bit bemused by it.
So are we.
He's saying, is it total meterage or how many steps?
How many? It's a very good question, you know. Berry from halfway sets it up. Flying at the pack across the front went Cockatoo, but it really was interference more than anything else. Caleb Daniels' kick brought to ground by McRae, wore the contact. Williams had his hand pass charged down by McCluggage, who got it off to Lyons. High ball to full forwards. Who flies? McCarthy flies. Charlie stay down and Cockatoo missed to the right. So he flung it onto his boot. Oh. Not to be. 1-2-8 the Lions. They trail the Dogs 2-2-14 on Tyre Power. Your trusted.
I know he was under pressure, Jared. He had a handball receive running straight in his vision that would have run to the goal line. Flashed past him, but opted to go for the quick snap.
Caleb Daniel runs well into the back pocket and beyond. Takes the kick to the wing. Norton threatening the air. Coleman underneath. It's back into the forward line. Again, Cameron was dangerous. Knocked away from Cockatoo. Gardner tried to flick the handball out, but the cuffs are well and truly on. Fearsome tackling in there. It was Payne who did well with some heavy body work and brought him to a halt. Contested possessions level at the moment. Clearances basically level. Dogs have an extra goal. English allowed to do the ruck work unimpeded. Gardner wasn't really ready for the handball. He's tackled well by Payne. And they've just got away with that one as it squirted through for a behind.
Well, it was a handball from McRae to say, I don't want to have anything to do with this, and just handed over the responsibility to Gardner.
He was nervous.
And he did really well to get to the goal line and make that look like it was a forced rush behind.
Anywhere else on the ground, he might have gone, I reckon.
Eyes straight up to the umpire to see if he'd got away with it. Caleb Daniel with a kick in as a short one to Bailey Smith. Dogs by 5. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. Bailey Smith out of the defensive area. He went short with his kick to Dunkley. He can work the hand pass to McRae. Strides into space down the near wing. And kicks in the Norton direction. He bobbled it up. Couldn't complete the mark. Adams jarred it free. Adams playing for the boundary. Norton keeps it in. He soccers it forward, but there's a strong hold of Lions there. And Starcevic got it from Andrews. Gave it to Berry. High on the way out. Setting himself was English. Couldn't mark. Hunted to McRae. Dogs back inside with a short ball, not 15. Shackey couldn't hang on either. Lyons to McCluggage and now to Birchall. Just flings it out of there with a torpedo down the wing. Caleb Daniel went back with the flight bravely, and he does end up with it, courtesy of Duray with a neat tap. And off to McRae, who distributes it up to Hunter. Bumbles the kick towards the 50. It got through the first couple of lines. Hannon was trying to get onto it. Harris Andrews looks a bit pedestrian again as he hand passes for the boundary. It'll be thrown in left forward pocket for the Dogs, who lead it by 5. 7:41 left on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock.
You get a real sense, Hutto, that both teams are just trying to get that yardage. Not a lot of method or necessarily delivery to their forwards to the advantage. Just trying to get it as far forward as they can.
From the throw-in, Lippers there or thereabouts as English got the tap, but it went bouncing towards Lyons, who headed towards the boundary line. Hunter keeps it in and was able to shrug the Robertson tackle. Back to the front of the goals. Norton threatened in the air. Cockatoo will have to defend here against Rourke Smith, who pushed him out of the way. Got onto the football off the left boot. Rourke Smith has just missed. Another wasted opportunity. It was really well earned, though, wasn't it?
Spot on, Hutto. He did so well to keep his feet in the contest with Cockatoo. Just didn't finish off his work like Libra has twice from almost the exact same spot.
I reckon Harris Andrews is cast. I just caught him a couple of times on the screen. I think he's no good at all. We're on the camera angle as to how much we can see, but
he was like that last week. I thought his first contest where he took that intercept mark on centre wing looked as good as he has in 2 weeks, but you're spot on with that latest effort. The reports is it's knee. The way he moves, it looks like it's back. He's just got no mobility.
Back-related knee, maybe, Joe.
Always. Everything's back-related, Anthony.
Out at half-back for the throw-in from the Lions. Hacked off the turf. Oh, Duray took the mark and then was met ferociously by Danaher. And in different circumstances, that could have escalated into something. He left the ground and he banged into Duray after he'd taken the mark.
Is it close
should
to
have
being
been 50,
Yeah.
really. Up to McRae. Dogs go deep inside. What have they got? Wakeman's the flyer. A bit unusual. He went over the top of English and he just left his ruckman a little the worse for wear underneath.
Big Joe's really fortunate that he collected Duray on the shoulder rather than straight through the middle and possibly the head.
It's still 50, though, isn't it, if it's late?
You have to take the mark, though.
You have to be competing the ball. You have to be going for the ball.
He stopped it in flight, so that's a mark as a starting point for me. Neil got it at the stoppage and he cleared the area for the Lions. Berry takes the mark. Caleb Daniel just held him up. Berry now is able to release it. Lions going by. Hand pass to McCluggage. It couldn't be in better hands. He goes deep again. He was after McCarthy this time. He seemed to be met front on. And that is how the umpire has called it.
Late call, wasn't it?
It was. It was. It's against Ryan Gardner. In the live action, it looked there. McCarthy had set himself. Gardner probably got the ball first, but then ended up in McCarthy's face.
It's a really difficult position that Gardner gets found in there because he knows he doesn't want to make contact. He actually did a really good job to try and track the football.
It's just the follow-through.
The follow-through, the momentum of where he was going. Link McCarthy's had a superb year.
McCluggage again so telling with the deep delivery. First to set up Charlie Cameron and now Link McCarthy, who's been sure on the set shot this season. McCarthy lives up to that billing and the Lions tied up late in the opening term. 2-3-15 each of two. The Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard. There's 5:37 to go on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock.
Well, Hutto, the scores are level and all the key stats are exactly the same. The disposal efficiency is very similar. The contested possessions 29-30, so let's call that even. The clearance is 8-6 in favour of the Lions, and the inside 50s is 12 apiece. And the tackles, just to highlight the pressure, 13-10. So we've got this game of both teams trying to make the most of their opportunities, particularly on turnover. But you called it perfectly, Gerald, a couple of times. It's McCluggage. When he gets through the middle of the ground, his decision-making is standing out because he's picking fantastic options, putting the ball into space and allowing his forwards to go to work.
36 goals, 14 for the season now for Link McCarthy. What a difference a dead-eye makes to a forward line. All tied up, as Dell said. 5.5 to go on the Makita clock. Makita Rule the Outdoors. McInerney had his way in the middle. Lovely tap down to Neil and off to Zorko. A torp inside 50. Could go anywhere. Went off the pack to Danaher. Perfect position for Joe to snap around the body for another. And suddenly the game on the Lions' terms. 2 looks, 2 goals. 6 points is their advantage on the Tyre Power scoreboard. Your trusted tyre experts.
And it was beautiful work out of the centre. You couldn't have drawn this up and then executed it any better. So as the ball gets tapped forward out of that stoppage from the Brisbane Lions, they release the handball backwards to give Zorko the opportunity to kick forward and get that 6-6-6 play into play. Big Joey not quite in position to attack the initial contest. But if you want a man at ground level that has the ability to snap around his body on the left peg, it's him.
He's at his most comfortable, really.
Well, that's exactly the point, Hutto. For a man, as this just bobbles to him, fortunately, over the back, takes a couple of steps to his right and then kicks across his body on the left peg. He knew straight away that's his first off the back of last week, not kicking a goal at all.
Oscar McInerney is running hot for Ream and Stoolereem, Australia's favourites. Lions by a goal, another ruck contest. McInerney just takes it out, Clark Keating style, hand passes it 30 metres forward of the play, onto it, swoops Zorko. He kicks the Lions to full forward. McCarthy wins it down to Charlie, who snaps his seconds. Get your motors running. That's 3 in 2 minutes from the Lions. Charlie Cameron's got a couple. It's 4-3-27 to 2-3-15, and the Bulldogs are getting slaughtered in the ruck. Yep. Something fierce for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
As the quarter's gone on, also.
And he's been significant, McInerney. He's picked the right option, so that time he grabs it out of the ruck, and it's just that handball field. You mentioned Clark Keating. It is bringing up some memories from 20-odd years ago, Mr. September, and that surge mentality of the Brisbane Lions. Paul Lewis-Young's just out of his depth at the moment. His midfielders would be screaming for just a contest. Don't allow them to surge the ball forward. Give us an opportunity to win it at ground level. And what I loved is that ball went forward. Link McCarthy, you speak about just competing and bringing the ball to ground. They speak about that with the Tools. What about from Link McCarthy?
That was directional,
No,
wasn't it?
Charlie Cameron is at ground level all by himself and taps it to the feet of him.
There might be a 6-6-6. Yeah, there's a warning, so it's going to be thrown up. I wonder if that helps Lewis-Young. It makes it even harder.
Don't give him, Oscar, any more time to think about it.
Oscar's going to try and tap it this time to the outside, which gives the Dogs an opportunity. Lyons was tackled immediately. Young, good work on the floor. Gave it to Bontempelli. They break to the clear. A handball to Hunter from the point of the square to the goal's mouth. It's knocked away. Waitman almost came off Bailey Smith's head. He kicked the goal anyway. It wasn't completely convincing. They're going to check this, but I'm pretty sure it's a goal.
I believe it's a goal. Can we just check if it was touched off the boot?
Score review. Umpire's call is a goal. Can you please check if the ball was touched?
Review underway.
Score review thanks to Thirsty at Home. Alcohol delivered ASAP. thirstycamel.com.au.
Review complete.
Doesn't appear like.
Looking at this angle, we can see a gap between the ball and the Brisbane defenders at all times. Decision on the scoreboard.
So goal confirmed. As you said, for thirstycamel.com.au.
Oh, they dented that.
It's been a flurry of goals, hasn't it?
Well, it's been a great response from the Dogs coming out of the centre square bounce again, but it was Oscar at the tabloid that actually put it into the position that he wanted. I'm just looking at the Dogs. They've just got to be careful that they're not too proactive or too overly aggressive at the centre square bounce because they are second to the football.
Well, the game was suddenly scorching for Ream, Australia's favourite in hot water.
But you couldn't be proactive as a Bulldog, could you, in the ruck at the moment with the way Oscar's...
It just puts you on the back foot a tiny bit, Hutto, in regards to centre square bounce because you've got to play back shoulder as Marcus Adams has come from the ground with a blood rule. Nose is bleeding.
So what? Did he clip his own...
He's collided with Mitch.
Yeah, it does. He's like...
Yeah, Mitch is a hazard to himself and everybody else. And Adams is off the ground with the blood rule. McInerney took it out of the ruck. Didn't quite affect the hand pass. Berry towed it forward without any real penetration, though. Rourke-Smith gave it to McRae, who was overwhelmed by the pressure. Zach Bailey swatted it forward. Charlie Cameron's onto it again. He's too quick for Eastonwood, and he's too good. Oh, Charlie's putting it on tonight for the locals. He's kicked 3 in the opening term. And that was a sight to behold. There's a small cohort of players who still meet haunted by memories of such things. I think Cale Hooker hosts them. And Eastonwood's just enrolled. It's a 12-point margin the Lions' way. Every one of these goals is a centre bounce goal. I've never seen anything like it.
Been incredible, and I put my hand up as well. There was one occasion where I tried to chase him when he was at Adelaide and realised that my time was done. Blamed Sean Atley for not manning up on his direct opponent. I've been in this situation, and it's a bad situation. Easton Wood is not a slow player at all, but he's not as fast as Charlie Cameron at full tilt, and the ability to accelerate away from a chasing defender and then put it across your body on the 45. And he has every right to run towards the crowd and celebrate accordingly. What a start from Charlie Cameron.
He's red hot, 4 minutes 20 to go. It's lugged forward out of the ruck again by McInerney. They're on their path to goal again. There's a free kick, there's advantage. Lachie Neale squeezed out a kick and he was just impeded as he did so. And it's marked by Bailey Williams as a result. And at last, a defender wins the ball back in their defensive 50.
For the strategist, this is just centre-bounce porn at the moment.
It is, isn't it? Bailey Dale plucks out Bontempelli through the middle of the ground. Jared working a little bit footy X-rated as
what time is it?
Stretched out to Hunter. He too was bumped as he kicked it. It was all fair. Down the line to Shackey. And the mild-mannered number 13 takes the mark and delivers to Bailey Smith. He's got a myriad of offers, but he kicks it up high. Lurking at the back is Young, waiting at the goal square to get out of the way because Waitman picked it up and had a shot. It came off the head of Rourke Smith, who flew for the mark, and then he's having a laugh about it with Rourke in the aftermath. Another behind. The scores are coming thick and fast at the moment. You talk about Port. It's not fun for coaches at the moment. No.
I think if you ask both coaches right now, they would be hating this style of play. Far too easy to be scored against.
Great for spectators. Yes. Rich into Zorko, back to Rich.
I think Fagan's probably the only coach. He does tend to embrace this a little bit.
Except when his team's playing.
Well,
Berry has footy in hand from the defensive 50. He plonks it down the line, and he does so to reasonable effects. So the Lions are able to set up through McCluggage. He'll give the hand pass to Birchall. Breaks through halfway and gives them a good long look deep. Cameron's flying at everything. He couldn't get over the top of English that time. And English knocks it down and out of play. It'll be thrown in for Spitwater. That's what it does. It's the Lions by 11 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard with 2:51 to play.
Adams been cleaned up and is ready to return to the field of play. As Jared said, just under 3 minutes on the Makita clock. Wiped away by English, grabbed by McCluggage, a little no-looker. Didn't quite hit the mark. Lachie Neale, Bontempelli did his best to win it back, but both ultimately weren't able to control the football. 5-3-33 plays 3-4-22. 11-point margin. Boundary umpire does his thing, hurls it back into play. McInerney in front. English knocked it down though towards Bontempelli, who eked out a hand pass to McRae. Sends it forward. Might have been taken down, given a shove in the back by Lachie Neale. So it's downfield or coming back? In the act, so it might be coming back. So just behind the wing.
Coming out for disposal number 12, Hutto. Jackson McRae.
So is that on or below his average, Del?
That's about average for this man.
It is.
It can accumulate.
To half forward goes the kick. Lewis Young was there, but so too was Harris Andrews, who put the definitive fist into it, and it's back over the line and out of bounds.
Well, those numbers always thanks to safety still sheds.
Still looking for the hanger of the day for hangmytv.com.au because that's what they do. 11-point margin. Slight lull after the frenzy we've seen of late. Back into play. McInerney beaten by English. He fists it down. Berry's going to get the first look. He knows he's going to be tackled. So he gave a handball away to Rich just in the nick of time. He wobbled one up to the wing. Daniel seemed to get propelled forward. Play on the call. Zorko goes hard against the traffic the other way. Little kick only went as far as Bailey Williams. He scooped it up. It's a high ball. Rich to defend Smith, which he did. Grabbed by Berry. It's kick to kick at the moment, but he finds Zorko, who gets the handball to Neale. They work in tandem again. Neale's kick is a cute one. Leading up, Charlie takes the mark. He turns face on. A hand pass to Bailey, who chips and misses badly. And it fell for Alex Keith, who gets it to English, and the Dogs are able to wobble it back to the wing. Bailey Smith, he was able to brush off Zorko impressively. The ball jarred out in all of that. Dunkley puts a tackle on, and the whole thing grinds to a halt.
Oh, that was stealing defeat from the jaws of victory there. The last kick inside 50 early in the term was problematic, and it rears its head again for the Lions. Dunkley got it out to the side where Hunter was taken high. So the Dogs will win it in centre field. inside the last 80 seconds of the term. He spreads it wide out to Dale. Takes the mark and meanders away, then ducks back inside. Left cockatoo lamenting. Had a bounce, closed his half forward. Set it up to the hot spot, but it's a limp kick on the way in. And Andrews used Gardner and McCluggage, who just strolled through the forwards. He was off balance as he kicked. Payne's trying to bring it to ground. He did. Wood, though, was onto it this time. He rifled that ball to Dale, who did well to control it. It's a horrible kick inside 50. Gardner for the Lions will absorb the tackle of Treloar and go out of play. Dogs have it inside 50, 46 seconds to play on the Makita Rule, the outdoors clock. It's the Lions by 11.
Been the story of Adam Treloar's night so far, unfortunately. Just a missed kick, yet to touch the football.
Norton hasn't been a factor either, has he, so far, really, for the Bulldogs?
Just had the 2 disposals, Hutto.
Young versus McInerney, beautifully gathered by McRae, dumped the hand pass with Hunter. This is just outside the 50, off to Daniel. All he could do was creep the kick low. Beautifully picked up by Rourke Smith, but he took a step too many. And that enabled Zorko to wrap his arms around him. And he dropped it. Well done from Dane Zorko, sensing the gravity of the situation and the chance to have an 11-point lead to take into quarter time. Be a big win for a team coming off such a loss with last week, because we said the Dogs coming in with the momentum and certainly started that way, but it's just a possession game until they can see off these last 10 seconds on the Makita clock. Makita Rule the outdoors. Power through the season, in fact, with Makita's Power Garden. It is that time of the year. Get out in the garden. McCluggage going to have the last kick of the first quarter from half back to half forward, and it's job done as far as the Lions are concerned. Despite how dangerous the Bulldogs look, there's a little bit of push and shove as they make their way off towards the quarter-time huddle. Everyone just stay away from the umpires would be the general advice. 5-3-33 to 34-22 at quarter-time.
Charlie Cameron's booted 3. Danaher and McCarthy 1 each, while for the Dogs 2 for Liberatore and 1 for Bailey Smith. AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. It's the Lions by 11.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Tyre Power. Always win with the free 5-minute tyre safety check.
Sustained performance in footy is more than just one great game. It's about playing consistently, game after game, season after season. It's the same with your super. Because if you're with Host Plus, you're the super fund with a history of long-term top performance. Host Plus, we go with you.
This is general advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS available at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
How's your latest energy bill looking? It's time to flip the switch and experience the amazing value at Kogan Energy. Want proof? Just upload your electricity bill on koganenergy.com.au and find out how much you could be saving on Kogan's incredible energy rates. See why thousands of Aussies are already saving with Kogan Energy. Visit koganenergy.com.au. Kogan Energy, powered by PowerShop and does not operate in all areas.
G'day, Kane Corns here. Now, if you wake up with a sore neck or headaches and you snore too much, it's either too much booze or the bloody pillow. I can solve the problem. The Aussie-made Spinal-Ease pillow. I've made the switch to the Spinal-Ease pillow, and I have to say, I love it. And I love the fact that it's Aussie-owned and made. We spend a third of our lives in bed. If you're not sleeping on a Spinal-Ease pillow, well, you're kidding yourself. To order your Spinal-Ease pillow now with free delivery, just go to spinaleze.com.au. That's spinaleze.com.au.
It's Tyre Power's Big Footy Final Sale. And the team from Tyre Power is giving you the power to buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Toyo passenger car tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Toyo tyres. Tyre Power's Big Footy Final Sale can't last. Visit tyrepower.com.au during Tyre Power's Big Footy Final Sale.
Imagine the convenience of buying your new car from the comfort of your own home. With Hyundai's Click to Buy, you can shop online. We've made it easy to compare models, configure your Hyundai, and make a deposit online through our secure Click to Buy process. So, whether you're after the remarkable i30, the impressive 8-seat Palisade, or the seriously fun Kona, You can shop online with Hyundai. Search Hyundai Click to Buy for details. T's and C's apply, subject to stock availability. Speak to your Hyundai dealer for details.
Whether you're a die-hard Demon supporter or a Bulldogs tragic, every footy fan knows in finals there are no guarantees. If you really want to back a winner this September, back a Camel. A thirsty Camel, that is, with specials like Great Northern Super Crisp 24-pack just $47.99, or Jim Beam White Double Serve and Canadian Club Premium 10-packs only $43.99 this week. Find your local bottle shop at thirstycamel.com.au. T's and C's apply. Hydrate responsibly.
Hey, it's Jordan Lewis here. I was lucky enough to win 4 premierships, but I still remember my first game as a rookie. I needed all the advice I could get. So, if you're after an apprenticeship and need the same kind of expert help, you can't go past MEGT. MEGT is Australia's largest and only national apprenticeship network provider, making them your true local apprenticeship experts. With MEGT, a winning could be yours. So check out their free job board today. Just go to megt.com.au or call 13MEGT.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
And here's your local safety steel expert, Bass Coast Garages, your local professional shed and garage supplier, registered builder and roof plumber. Custom-made garage doors, steel frame sheds and carports. Design advice, installations and repairs. Bass Coast has over 20 years trusted, reliable experience. Bass Coast Garages, White Road, Wonthaggi.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
BassCoastGarages.com.au.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
It's a sky ball for the Bont, and Rich has done enough, but Liberatore read the players a step ahead, and he dribbles a goal, the first of the night.
Charlie Cameron is in hot form in recent weeks, and he is tonight. Just smacked it away for Bailey to try to deal with Liberatore again.
To Zorko, a torp, inside 50, could go anywhere, went off the pack to Danaher. Perfect position for Joe to snap around the body for another.
Bailey swatted it forward. Charlie Cameron's on it again. He's too quick for Easton Wood, and he's too good. Oh, Charlie's putting it on tonight for the locals. 3 opening quarter goals for Charlie Cameron. It is the Brisbane Lions by 11 points over the Bulldogs at quarter time. Nick Del Santo.
What an electrifying first 30 minutes of football for both teams. Both teams had their opportunities, and Charlie Cameron, you look at the inside 50, so the Lions went inside 50 18 times for 8 scores, 5 goals, 3 of which Charlie kicked 3 himself. But at the other end of the ground, the Dogs went inside 16 times for 7 scores, 3 goals, 4. So if I'm the defensive coach for both teams, or the senior coach, as happy as I am with the offensive side of the game, you're also worried about the opportunity that the opposition are getting and the exposure for both defences. Easton Wood now has to play back shoulder. So this is just a natural occurrence. When you feel you're getting exposed for speed, you've got to take a metre or two and play back shoulder Charlie Cameron. Don't be shocked if he starts leading up at the football and gets a little bit of space and separation on him as he leads back up at the kicker. Great start. Oscar McInerney in the middle has been enormous. He's had 12 hit-outs. Hit-outs are one thing, but when you're winning clearances and dominating out the centre square bounce, it's another. They've got to control the centre square bounce, the Dogs, minimise the damage.
Opening bounce of the second term for Tyre Power, awarded CanStar Blues most satisfied customers again. Lions by 11, they kick to the left of screen in this second term. English flies early. McInerney wins the tap, but it's sharked by McRae. Hand pass to Bontempelli. Got under the kick, so it doesn't travel far. It did travel high. English propelled himself in fearlessly. It didn't amount to much, though. Coleman to McInerney. Back to Coleman. Kick was touched, so off hands into the middle of the ground. Lions one way, Bontempelli the other. Bontempelli got there first. Worked the hand pass away to McRae, who turned it over. And McCluggage went as soon as he got hold of it. He's had 3 bounces through the middle. They finally came to him, and he kicked it straight into Caleb Daniels, so he took a little bit too long. Hugh McCluggage, and Daniel holds it up. There's a rich sense of anticlimax in that.
What a shame. He'd run all the way through the middle of the ground and ran so far he ran into the oncoming defence. That last bounce just cramped himself up with the space.
We've got a blood rule here, we have. Jared Lyons. Whoa. He's dripping.
Let the spit water. That's what it does to tidy up.
It's a bit harsh. Put spit water. Get him back out there.
Back this way, straight at the footy.
33 plays 22. They're ready to go again. McInerney nothing decisive, but at ground level it was worked up by Zorko, and then a high ball from Rich. Couple slip over. Payne made his way to the footy, but Duray beat him to it with a punch. It comes to Bontempelli. Clearing kick. It'll buy them time. It's going to be returned by Harris Andrews, who takes it out wide. So it'll take 2 kicks to cover the amount of yardage that was won by Bontempelli. It's going to come off the boot, though, of McCarthy. He took the mark as a quick assessment. It's a shocking-looking kick through the air, and it lands out on the full, very un-McCarthy-like. Nothing great about that.
Well, it was a bit of a lazy, just leant back on the kick, therefore pushed it out to the right.
Tim English's numbers comes up. He takes the kick back to the wing where the numbers have massed already. Late decision to fly by Bontempelli. He was limited what he could do as he had an arm napped. He was able to edge a kick backwards, can you believe, to find some help with Liberatore, and then it comes to a standstill again. And we'll have a ball up, I should say. The umpire said throw it. Oh, it is a throw in. So it went out before it came to a stalemate inside the field of play. Still an 11-point margin, early days, second quarter. AFL Nation for Athena Holmes. On its way back now. Young took the front position and got the tap against McInerney that time. Maybe had some tuition at the break. A hand pass out of there by Neal, though. Flings it in the direction of Berry, and then to Robertson, straddling the line into Bailey. Quick hands was good, back to Berry. So the build-up is fine. Top of the square, Danaher feeling some heat. Off the hands, grabbed by Payne. He found McCluggage. A little shimmy. A handball back to Payne. Is this his first? No, it fell well short of the mark. And Eastonwood wasn't taking any chances. He actually could have taken a pretty comfortable mark, but he wasn't quite sure of how dangerous the danger around him was. 5-4-34, 3-4-22 is your Tyre Power scoreboard. Your trusted tyre experts. In fact, we're into the second term, and it's the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard.
It just hints that there's going to be a lot of hard work. He'll labour for his first goal, Dale, on the evidence.
It was
of
also
that.
the snap of a man that's not quite sure how far that ball travels when it goes around your body, but that's a great mark on 70 from goal by Oscar.
He works the turnover on the kick in and then lofts it to full forward. Payne flew. It's knocked out of his grasp, and then he got all over Caleb Daniel and gave up the free kick.
Sort of feel like he's got to be that anchor real deep. Jared, allow... that's aggressive kick.
Yes, Caleb Daniel right into centre field. It works for Bontempelli, and he wants to take full toll by playing on quickly. Got away onto the left boot. Kicks in the Norton direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bites before he completed the mark. Had it on the tips of his fingers. Both hands involved before completing the mark in front of his eyes.
Did a good impersonation of a volleyball game there. Had the 5 touches and then finally takes it in the 2 mitts.
Such was the dexterity. I fancy him as a juggler on the evidence of that. Aaron Norton, the Dogs need it. From 48 out, struck it true and gets it home. So Norton's first real intervention in the night. The Dogs get the first of the second term. They trail by a goal. 4-4-28 to the Lions 5-4-34. On the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard, Robot's got it.
Well, as I was going to discuss the Jackson Payne positioning, I'd like to see more out of the goal scorer, allow Charlie Cameron to be up a tiny bit and then have Danaher up the ground roaming. But that was a really aggressive kick from Daniel as it went straight through the middle of the ground to Bontempelli. But without that aggressive kick, they're going down the line again. And the Lions have controlled the down-the-line play tonight with the height. We saw Oscar McInerney only moments earlier, an intercept mark. But that's an ultra-aggressive kick. High risk, high reward.
It's a skilled kick, though, isn't it?
It is. It's a calculated risk, Hutto. And then before you know it, you're in forward 50 and the juggling mark from Norton results in a goal. It's a great play.
Robot Building Supplies scoreboard closes to within 6. That's a high tackle straight away from Neal, who protests, but it was clearly there. McRae earns the free, arcs out to the left and skims the ball, looking for someone to lead up. Splayed out on the ground was Dunkley, didn't take the mark. Rich was able to get a handball away, but it went straight to Liberatore. Tucked it to the outside. Caleb Daniel gives it to Hunter. He too is normally pretty good at finding a man inside 50. English rode the wave. Didn't take the mark. The awkward-looking McInerney kick. Repels, takes them back out to the wing. Daniel's there first. Bailey was waiting for him. The tackle forced it back over the line and out of bounds. Zach Bailey had that look as if, why didn't I get a free for that? And The response was know the rules. I'm only making that up, but that's what
it's not far off, Hutto. It's not far off.
Right in front of the interchange gates for Quick As. They know freight, quickaz.com.au. Thrown in. McInerney again with the tap. Bontempelli tracks it. Berry rounds him up, takes him to ground and halts the champ's progress.
Keep an eye on this. Berry might have just knocked himself out by hitting his own head on the turf. He's slow to get to his feet.
Yeah, I was thinking he might have done a dangerous tackle because you could see a head go back, but it was his own head.
Yeah.
So just trying to keep his wits about him over on the side of the stoppage. Rich got it from under the ruck contest. Oh. McCarthy hit the pack. Oh, he's hurt Payne. He has inflicted that and hurt himself as well. Hunter brings it off half back for the Dogs with a couple of Lions well down on the fields. Hand passed up in the air by Gardner initially for the Lions and then cut off by Rourke Smith. His kick was going to be intercepted by Birchall, who went underneath it. Harris Andrews used the body, gave it...
Used the body, used both hands in the middle of the back.
He pushed him right in the back. If Jared Healy was here, he'd be off his
I'm sitting in Jared's area and I'm just representing him.
Shacky has it at halfway and Payne's bleeding everywhere.
Let's hope it's blood rather than concussion.
Gosh, it's a kick into the pocket from the Dogs, which doesn't amount to anything as it's knocked away from English.
He split his forehead open in that contest, so Payne sitting underneath it. It was the knee on the way down from Link McCarthy. Split the forehead open.
It's like last week when McStay got clipped by the knee of Cockatoo.
That's correct.
It's the knee of his own teammate that's done him in.
Jeez, there's a lot of blood as well.
I'm not sure how steady he is on his feet either. He's being helped off, but...
I was also concerned for Link McCarthy. We'll get an update on that and see how he's travelling because he came down the waterfall and landed on his shoulder with his own body weight. So is this a turning point? It was a significant moment last week when McStay went down about their forward structure. Now, the Payne experiment hasn't worked to this point, but he has demanded a key defender. So we have a look at this on the replay screen. Complete accident as Link McCarthy's just come flying over the top.
Whoever's the fifth string tall at Brisbane is thinking, I'm a chance for the preliminary final next week.
Well, we joked about Eric Hipple just standing in the goal square and just soaking up a key pillar role. So how do they shuffle the decks again? Can they quickly cover for that loss?
Throw it in the forward pocket. Wrestle between the rucks. It comes down to the front. English turns tackler on Berry. And can't get out of that.
So Ryan Lester is the medical sub tonight for the Lions. So clearly not a like for like, but you would never expect to be having a key forward or key defender as your medical sub.
Tossed up, tapped down by McInerney. Scrambling for it was Lyons. It came back his way again. English was in the mix. His tackle given the full 360 treatment and dropped it. And the free kick goes to Jared Lyons.
So that's the third line with blood tonight. The Lions is all strapped up. Adams was off in the first term. And now poor old Jack Payne for Spitwater. That's what it does. Kick long down the line. Brought to grounds by Robertson. His first real involvement. Hand passes it away to Danaher. Wrapped up. Just did enough for the satisfaction of the umpire to pretend that he was doing anything other than holding it in.
It was very late to do something, wasn't it? That almost should be penalised just for how token it looked.
That's all they asked for, Hutto.
Young tapped it down underfoot. The Lions threatened to bring it away through Zorko. He got some sort of kick up to half forward. Berry ran past it, and the moment did pass. Keith off to Dale. Kick across half back for the Dogs as they look to create on the near side. Gathered by Rourke Smith, who has a bounce and prods it in short. Treloar takes the mark.
First disposal for the game, Jared.
He had the kick on a 45, which he balked, and instead will go long and wide. Up in the English direction. Had front position, but no real conviction about the attempt to mark. Lions to McCluggage at the drop. Off to Birchall. Sharp hand pass inside. Fullerton gave it to Zorko. Off to Robinson. Back to Fullerton. Now he's corralled, so gives it back to Robinson, who found the way through. Lovely kick for Charlie Cameron, right up on the 50. He will go into the pocket for Danaher. That's lovely ball movement. First through the hand passes in the matrix, and then a couple of perfect kicks.
What's he got here?
Is it the right foot around the body, Hutto, or does he go the check side?
That's why I'm asking, Dale.
I'm going to say he's going to back in that left leg.
Is he close enough to the right foot?
No, that's a left-footed check side for the big fella. That right leg's only there for balance.
He's going to start outside the boundary, and he'd be 25 metres out from goal. Danaher goes the drop punt all the way across the face of goal and out of Well, it's off hands for a throw in.
Explain this to me. He doesn't kick a drop punt when he's almost directly in front, yet from that angle, being the non-preferred side for left footer, he wants to go straight at the pegs.
That was the least likely option.
He should have gone the barrel and tried to get the reverse swing.
That's why I asked the question, Del. McCarthy is off the ground. We'll check on that for Spitwater. That's what it does. Good tackle from Fulton, but the ball squirted out to Bontempelli. Lengthy kick back to the wing. Coleman did well to back into trouble and make sure the ball went over the line and out of bounds. 6-point lead to the Brisbane Lions. Just quietened and tightened early in the second on the Robot Building Supply scoreboard. Robot's got it. Lester still in his sub-gear. Did he have sub-gear? Still got his T-shirt on, so he's not coming on yet. Throw in. McInerney got the tap down. Robertson versus Dunkley. They crash into him. Neil joining Robertson and bringing a halt to any manoeuvre forward from Josh Dunkley.
Would that suggest that the pain injury isn't a concussion, that they can just tidy that cut up and get him back out there?
They're doing the assessment, that's for sure. Swatted forward again by McInerney, left-handed, but it met by Duray. A scrambled kick's going to go out on the full. So good pressure from the forward 50 from Brisbane has resulted in a out on the full, and I think it's Robertson again.
McInerney's pushed forward as well, Hutto, top of the goal square.
Double-handed ball drop in the kick. Top of the square. McInerney wasn't far off the mark, Dell. Flipped out the back, could have gone anywhere. Went to Bailey Williams. Couldn't kick it much higher. He's got it out of the defensive 50. Robertson and Coleman clambering for the ball. It got through multiple hands. It came to Dunkley. Wore one. A fumble from Bontempelli. It's so rare. And Neil doesn't capitalise.
Bontempelli hasn't fumbled since he was a toddler.
It's like rocking chair poo.
That's correct. Just to highlight the pressure and the intensity of this game.
Wood to Dale to Dunkley to clear the defensive 50, and now Liberatore over on the far side. Robot Building Supply scoreboard. It's the Lions by a goal. There's 11 and a half to go on the Makita Rule the outdoors clock. Liberatore used all the time that he was allowed. It's not much of a kick down the line. Vandermeer does the roving to the pack, though, to Treloar, to Norton, back to Treloar. Couldn't find the way forward, and risky going back. Coleman tried to disrupt the play. He tidied up his own mess, Treloar. Duray went too far back to Liberatore. Dunkley against the flow. The Dogs somehow clinging on to a ball that seemed destined for the Lions 50. McRae had ball in hand, and I reckon Bailey Smith must have worn one. It was Liberatore who wore one after the footy departed the area.
Either Joe or Cocky. Maybe Joe.
Bit of jumper pulling in the aftermath of it. Liberatore went for Zach Bailey and then doubled back. It's a poor entry from the Dogs. They've kicked it straight to Harris Andrews, who can't really cover the turf, but he just had to stand next to the behind post and win it back. He delivers out to Zorko. Fires it to half-back for McCluggage, where their runners up ahead of the play. Cockatoo's going the wrong way. The kick heads in his direction. He's dragged down by Duray. Cockatoo then tripped. Oh, finally a whistle.
Something.
So the third free kick was paid, but Cockatoo has it too far out himself. Danaher wants it one-on-one. He kicks more centrally. McInerney flies. Probably should have hung on, really. McRae hacks it away into centre field, a ball to be won. Waitman did well. He worked it out the back, then socketed off the ground poorly and delivered it straight to Gardner for the Lions.
He did to Zorko, who turned one way, and Birchall went past to receive. Driving ball. Joe threatens, but he never got a look. He got blocked legally, the umpire said. And Shaki takes the mark. Plays it wide for Dunkley, just trying to get into the game. A hand pass even further to the extreme. They always come out as wide as they can, the Bulldogs, and it comes to ground on the Bailey Dale kick away from Hunter over the line and out of bounds.
So the Dogs just starting to lose a little bit of their forward structure. The Lions just sitting behind the football, building that wall and having those repeat entries, 10 inside 50s to just the 6 this quarter. Yet it's the Dogs that have only kicked a goal this quarter. Bontempelli having a rest, Treloar having a rest for the Dogs.
And the Lions just one behind. They wrestle in the ruck. It came ricocheting back to English. You handed it off to Dunkley, getting some midfield time. It's fisted away from Coleman on the attempted entry, and it's out of bounds again. So we were right. The coaches put an end to any of that free-flowing scoring that we were seeing in the first quarter, Dal.
Yes, spot on. There also hasn't been many centre square bounces. That's where the majority of those first quarter goals came from.
Nick Dowsander, our expert tonight. From the throw-in. Knocked away by English. Comes back to McRae and up and under. And Hannon able to reach up and somehow grasp it. It didn't look likely to happen, but English just came in and maybe it was an obstacle for Birchall. And he's taken the mark. Dell doing his fine work for car sales, everything you auto know. Of course.
Of course. Well, it was a good grab in the end from Mitch Hannon.
Yeah, they're happy with his competing work last week. Can he hit the scoreboard now? He's only had one disposal. But if they're happy with the competing work, Dell, that's all that matters.
Well, they didn't even want him to mark it. All they want is competing, so that's a bonus.
Now, he gets his look. It'll take a 50-metre kick. It looks straight. It looks long enough. And it has tied up the ball game. Halfway through the second term, the Dogs are the only ones doing the scoring in the second. And on the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard, Robot's got it. It's 5-4, 34 apiece.
Well, they're winning the contested possession, the Dogs, and that was one that was highlighted off the back of last week's performance, particularly in that second half. Their ability to neutralise or win those stoppages. They got dominated in that space in this first quarter, McInerney being the main component of that with his dominance in the ruck. It's been a great response by the Dogs just to neutralise that. The clearance is 5 apiece. They're leading the tackle count. They're just behind in the inside 50s. But as this kick comes in from McRae, who's had another 6 disposals this quarter, it's just more than a half chance. That's what they need. They need contributors. And it's a lovely finish from 50.
Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. India none for 55 at the Oval. At the start of day 3, they trail by 44 runs. So the only 2 goals of this term the Bulldogs' way, and they were all tied up again. English wins a tap in the middle, but Lyons is onto it. He guides Brisbane in the Danaher direction. He got led up underneath it. Charlie lays the tackle on Wood, who let the footy go. Keith and Woods, they find the way out through Duray. The kick, though, was cut off by Lyons, who had it well scouted. Hand pass to Neil, couldn't find the way. Had to hand pass it off to Robinson and back to Lyons. Tried to wrong foot Liberatore, didn't. Hand pass to Robinson on the scrambled play, it works. It falls into McCluggage. He's up near the 50. He's going to place it for Danaher. He overkicked him.
It was a poor kick in the end. He was trying to go to the advantage of Danaher and just put it into space, but it was far too deep anyway. It's gone to 2 metres out from the goal line.
So overthought it or underthought it?
It's just poor execution, Hutto.
Williams took the intercept mark. Lester's starting to warm up now on the Lions bench.
Yeah, maybe Payne has his night on his hand. It's good hands for the Bulldogs to win the ball back on the wing. A rare fumble from Caleb Daniel now, and as a result, it was kind of self-inflicted, not deliberately, but Dane Zorko came over the top a little overexcited about the prospect of winning the footy back on the fumble, and he tackled him high. Clobbered him, really. Free kick to Caleb Daniel at centre-half back. Keeps an aggressive line through the middle of the ground, and from the heart of the Gabba, Eastonwood took the mark and drives it deep. Cody Waitman! Oh, he didn't mark, but he opened a path up for Norton. Slight double grab, was about to run headlong into Adams. Gave it back to Waitman, who kicked a goal. And they've chained up 3 in the second quarter. And the delight is spreading. He has not been allowed off the leash tonight, but he's a happy man right now, Cody Waitman.
And so he should be, Hutto. Look at the enthusiasm that he brings. He almost has an expression on his face like he can't believe that he did it himself. But it was Joe Danaher that allowed Eastonwood to come through the middle of the ground, particularly off a slow play. They had enough time to drop into a team defence or a zone. But Eastonwood just waltzes his way through the Gabba. Joe Danaher not goal side, not part of the team defence, and it's just far too easy. There's a breakdown. And the ball gets inside forward 50 and isolates Waitman, who goes for mark of the year again. And then has the ability to spring back to his feet as Norton feeds back the easy handball. It's a good finish.
Dogs by a goal on the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard. A contender for the instant windscreens goal of the night, 1-3-2-4-4. This has been an impressive response from the Dogs, and the sub has been made. Payne out of the game, Leicester into it for the Lions. Bontempelli works hard in the middle. He, by one way or another, got it out to McRae. Bump ball up to half forward. Bailey Smith gathers, turns inboard. Bontempelli followed it, and he takes the mark 40 metres out from goal.
Good tracking by the captain. Ball goes out wide to the far side of the Gabba. Bontempelli gets into a position that when they do win it, and Bailey Smith does, where can he get the next position? And gets into the right position.
So what end does Leicester go to?
We tried to work out what was going to happen pre-game and we struggled. What do you do now?
Marcus Bontempelli through centre half forward. A skip and then a launch. It's left and it won't work its way in. A 7-point margin in the Dogs' favour. Robot Building Supplies scoreboard. There's 6:30 to go on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock in the second term.
Speaking to Eric Hitwood pre-game, he said that Fags likes to have the 3 pillars, 3 key forwards.
Of course, they should get McStay back next week if they make it. But they're 7 points in arrears at the moment. They're playing the possession game this time in the re-entry. Adams was about to instinctively kick it, then he realised that Hannon had it covered. He checked himself and went short to Starcevic and then across to Robinson. First handball. It was Neil running to receive under immediate attention. Got a handball away just to keep the Wolves at bay. And then Gardner had to kick it back, giving up some ground. So after all of that, Starcevic has the mark and runs right across the face of defensive goal because waiting for the ball was Daniel Rich, normally lethal with his left boot, but there's no immediate opening for him. So it's short stuff to Dane Zorko, who again has a hankering to hand pass. In the end, he just places it onto the chest of Gardner. So hasn't been perfect, but they've maintained possession. Birchall's kick towards half forward. Fullerton the target, didn't mark. Scouting the pack well was Coleman. A handball to Robinson. They close. He kicks. It's deep. It's Joe's ball. Good work from Keith. Made the spoil. Williams dragged down by Cockatoo for too long. And Cocky can't believe it. And the umpire won't give him a cracker.
I'd like to have... Sorry. We'll come back to you, Hutto. We'll give that a moment.
10 free kicks apiece. Safety steel sheds. Bailey Williams out of the back pocket for the Dogs. They lead it by 7. He takes the territory in the English direction. Had a fly at the pack, some interference. And it's going to be Shacky's free kick.
Well, I'd like to have a look at those last 2 free kicks. It hasn't been obvious. That's a poor
Shacky's
kick.
kick inboard's no good. Cut off by Neil, who ran into Bontempelli, who clobbered him. I reckon he did it by the time he arrived, knowing he was giving away the free kick and he was going to make him absolutely wear it.
And he still had a surprise look.
Neil off to McCluggage, down as he kicked it. Up went Cameron, came down empty-handed. Daniel loose hand pass. Berry tracks the footy. Daniel wore him close, maybe too close. Treloar, little throw up to Hunter. Then to Dale, the kick hasn't covered any territory. Shacky's dispossessed. McCarthy's onto it. Hand pass to Robinson. Stepped through the traffic and banged it home. They needed a bit of Mitch. The Lions get their first goal late in the second term to close it to a point. 6-4-40, chasing the Dogs 6-5-41 on the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard.
Well, he's the sort of person that would just exhaust you sitting next to him all day, Mitch. But they exactly needed that. It was a great turnover. They've kept it in their forward half for the last 5 minutes. There's been some great tackling, a couple of free kicks that didn't go their way. Yet their desire to get after the football, it was that poor kick across the ground that I think it was Lockie Neal got his hand to. As the ball bobbles out, there's a bobble or 2 bobbles from Shacky. McCarthy picks up the loose ball, sidestep from Robinson. And that's a good finish. Goes back to the centre square bounce where the Lions have dominated this game as well. The other one to keep an eye on is Oscar McInerney is pushing forward at every opportunity in general play.
Resume hostilities at the centre bounce. Tapped down by McInerney to line. He threads it back to Neil. They might have got their mojo back. It's high. Waiting under it was Cameron. He ducked back out the back. It didn't go his way. It falls for Zach Bailey. Has a sharp kick. Dragged it left. Charlie Cameron, I think, has now kicked 19 goals, 2 in the last 5 weeks too. He's been deadly accurate.
So scores are level as the Dogs bring it into play. Woodmark's well clear of the defensive 50. You could see this in the last 15 seconds, couldn't you, with the Lions inside a goal and a centre bounce, the way they've been able to get it forward at will. Wood kicks it wide. It looked out on the full. Dunkley tried to claim that he touched it over the line, and the umpires agree. Quite a clever play. McCluggage sits it out for the moment, having covered the 8 clicks already in this game. 3.5 to go in the second term. McInerney won the tap. McRae the footy at the back to Bontempelli. And Rourke Smith with that advantage goes dashing into midfield. Had a bounce. Kicks the Dogs inside 50. Out came Norton. He was behind Adams, who made the spoil. It pitched away from Bontempelli. Zorko to Robinson. Back past the traffic this time to the Lions. Out the near side for Neil. Dunkley did well. Came with the flight. Nothing but ball. He's tackled then by Neil. He threw it away. Neil pulled it in. Got caught. I reckon that's holding the ball. He dragged it in, and he therefore had to successfully get it away and failed.
By the letter of the law, it's the correct call, but it's really stiff because it was Neil that made the tackle, endeavours to get the football. It actually ends up on top of the tackle from Dunkley.
But Dunkley knew what he was doing. As soon as Neil got it, all he had to do was pin it to him.
Almost encourages the ball winner not to pick up the football.
Caleb Daniel goes well out to the right, almost next to the boundaries. He kicks just beyond the wing, and Bontempelli forced it close to the line, and eventually, despite the tumble turn from Mitch Robinson, and he just collected a bit of Rourke Smith. It's gone over the line and out of bounds.
Jackson McRae's up to 22 disposals thanks to safety still sheds, going at 43% kicking efficiency though.
McInerney got the tap down away from Lewis Young. Coleman was there, so too was McCarthy. He made a couple of feigned punches at the ball, but he was well trapped in the Treloar tackle. 2:22 to go, so Ritchie has it smashed forward by McInerney again. Not good tackle, though, from Berry on McRae. It's hacked forward. Charlie Cameron's there. It's belted forward by Zach Bailey. They get a bit closer. Clever touch from Keith. Helped out by Gardner. They're trying to surge desperately at the Lions. They just stay ahead of the game, the Bulldogs. Quick hand pass away from Gardner to McRae. Back to the wing. It's knocked forward to Lyons. Dribbles one on the bounce. Charlie tried to get away. Lost his footing. And a sigh of relief from Easton Wood. He's onto the ball. He's torpedoing out to celebrate. Juggler again. He's in the circus, Norton. Doesn't take the mark as the elephant went past. And now we have a ball up on the wing. 6-5, 41 apiece. Coleman maybe thought he got collected high.
A minute 44 to go in the half. Tossed out, McInerney pulls it down, got nudged off his kick. Birchall tidies up, hand passes it to Robinson, hooks the Lions inside 50. Wood had good position this time against Charlie Cameron, and he takes the intercept mark. Well, it'd be a twitchy night, wouldn't it, to be Easton Wood every time it comes in.
Shocking position to be in.
Got to hold his nerve, and he held it well there. Nick Del Santo for car sales, everything you ought to know. Wood kicks to the wing, and Dunkley impeded in his efforts by Zorko, who pleads his innocence and then accepts. Oh, okay, fair enough. Dunkley, defensive side of the middle. Does he have the imagination for it? Caleb Daniel receives the hand pass running round the back. Kicked it up for Hannon. Coleman gave away the free kick. McRae is going to be allowed to get away with a squandered advantage.
Shouldn't.
No, as he clearly worked the hand pass on. It comes back to Hannon, so the Dogs catch a break. A lot of numbers folding back. Hannon veers inboard. Unloads to the hot spot. Norton planted himself. Adams made the spoil. Gardner for the Lions underneath. Met after he'd got rid of it. So Brisbane should be able to soak up some seconds as Darcy Gardner rises in the back pocket with the free kick.
Have we seen Lester yet?
Don't feel like we have, but it was registered that he had come into the game.
He's registered. He hasn't come on the ground yet, Hutto.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? They would do that and not bring him on just to get the rotations going. Rich, back to the wing. McInerney is the prime target. Young did enough to defy him. And the ball coerced over the line and out of bounds.
He's had a huge first half. Oscar McInerney absolutely dominating the ruck contest.
The big O. 19 seconds remaining. McInerney in the front. Got the tap down again to Robinson. His hands are a bit too slick for Lyons. Instead, it's the Bulldogs into their own handball drill. It's keepings off. It's Daniel de Bontempelli. He's threatening from 55. And he wasn't far off the mark. It's enough to give them a lead, albeit it's a minor rather than a major. And the halftime score is registered on the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard. Robots got it. 6-6-42 the Western Bulldogs. 6-5-41 the Brisbane Lions. The goal kickers?
2 for Liberatore with singles to Bailey Smith, Waitman, Hannon and Norton, while Charlie Cameron kicked 3 in the opening term. Danaher, Robinson and McCarthy. It's the Dogs by a point at the main break. AFL Nation tonight for Athena Home Loans. Nick Del Santo, give us just a top-of-mind thought and then we'll explore it a little deeper.
Well, I was just thinking to myself, who would I rather be now walking in at half-time? And I probably like the game style of the Lions, even though the Dogs had a really significant and a really solid second quarter. I just think they're more damaging. They've got more options when they go forward, and at times they have looked more steady behind the football. But by saying all of that, it's the Dogs that walk in 1 point up. So they'd be really comfortable with the position that they sit in right now. I want to see how this injury plays out as well to Payne. Yeah. What do they do? How do they restructure? Off the back of the injuries last week, they're going through the exact same thing again.
It's going to be a one-kick game, this one.
It does have that feel to it. It did in Prospect.
Someone pops up.
And a centre bounce right at the end.
Extra time even.
Yes, I like the way you think.
Ardo.
Nick Del Santo for Car Sales, everything you auto know. Half-time at the Gabba, first semi-final, the right to meet Port Adelaide in a week's time at Adelaide Oval. It's the Dogs 6-6-42, leading the Lions 6-5-41. AFL Nation is for Athena Home Loans.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Robot Building Supplies. Robots got it.
The world is moving so fast, we can find instant satisfaction in almost anything these days. Sleepy? Instant coffee. Gotta sell your car fast? Car Sales? Instant offer. Simply enter your car's details to get a free quote from an official buyer, there and then. Schedule an inspection by a trusted partner, then drop it off or have it picked up. Finalise the details and voila! Get paid the next business day. So sell your car the instant way and get it done with Car Sales Instant Offer.
Sexyland stores are still open for click and collect and 2-hour delivery. Head to sexyland.com.au to browse Australia's largest range of adult toys, from new season vibes to fun games for grown-ups. Sexyland always open for you online 24/7 at sexyland.com.au and taking phone orders on 1800 885 239.
Take me now, I come in. Take me now, Sexyland.
Hey, Barry, those whack jobs at Athena Home Loans are giving away $100,000 to pay down someone's loan. Didn't they get the memo? Mortgages are about tying people down, not some Oprah episode. Hello, bank.
Hi, Athena are giving
me the
Apply now and get approved for an Athena loan for your chance to win $100,000 towards your home loan. There's never been a better time to switch. Visit athena.com.au to apply and for competition dates and terms. Athena, love us and leave us. Standard credit criteria applies.
G'day, Greg Rust here. Before you go away on your long-deserved holiday, get your 4B kitted out with the Bendix Ultimate 4-Wheel Drive Brake Upgrade Kit with advanced brake pads and rotors, braided lines and lots more. It's the ultimate brake upgrade for the latest 4x4 vehicles like the Ranger and Hilux. When you've loaded up all the gear in your 4-wheel drive or you're towing your caravan, make sure your brakes are up to the job with the Bendix Ultimate 4-Wheel Drive Brake Upgrade Kit. Bendix, put your foot down with confidence.
The Kogan Money credit card is full of value with no annual fees, amazing rewards and a complimentary Kogan First membership giving you cheaper deals and free shipping at Kogan.com. And right now you can earn up to $400 Kogan.com credit when you meet the spend requirements. Plus, earn up to 2 cents worth of Kogan.com credit for every $1 of eligible spend. So make the switch to a better value credit card today at koganmoney.com.au/footy.
Offer ends September 30th, 2021. T's and C's credit criteria apply.
Product issuer and credit provider Citigroup Pty Ltd.
So, you want another furphy? Well, legend has it that a brewer in Geelong had an epiphany. A vision for a beer unlike any other. Easy drinking, full strength, a clean finish. They say he brewed it for ultimate refreshment, and once perfected, he'd call it Furphy Crisp Lager.
Isn't that what he's drinking?
Oh, yeah. Here you go. Furphy Crisp Lager.
Unbelievable.
Hey, it's Jordan Lewis here. You don't get to play in 4 AFL Premiership teams without starting somewhere. And as a rookie, I was mentored by some of the best footy brains around. In business, it's easy to find your gun rookie just by calling MEGT. As Australia's largest and only national apprenticeship network provider, MEGT is your local apprenticeship expert. Whether you're an employer wanting an apprentice or you're looking to kickstart your career as one, MEGT's got you covered. Visit MEGT.com.au or call 13-MEGT.
It's never been more important to buy Australian than right now.
Our local manufacturers and growers produce world-class products known for their quality, safety and reliability. All while generating local jobs, supporting our communities and helping Australian families now and into the future. So look for the trusted green and gold kangaroo logo. Buy Australian now. Visit australianmade.com.au.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Game on.
Got away onto the left boot, kicks in the Norton direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bites before he completed the mark. From 48 out, struck it true and gets it home.
Comes back to McRae and up and under. And Hannon able to reach up and somehow grasp it. Now he gets his look. It'll take a 50-metre kick. It looks straight. It looks long enough. And it has tied up the ball game. And drives it deep. Cody Waitman. Oh, he didn't mark, but he opened a path up for Norton. Gave it back to Waitman, who kicked a goal.
Shackie's dispossessed. McCarthy's onto it. Hand pass to Robinson. Stepped through the traffic and banged it home. They were the highlights for McDonald's. Taste Macca's iconic classic double burgers today. 3 goals to 1 the Bulldogs' way that term. They turn an 11-point deficit into a 1-point half-time lead. AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. Save on your home loan at athena.com.au. It's the Dogs 6-6-42, leading the Lions 6-5-41 as we get to the half-time floor show for Choices Flooring.
The Choices Flooring Halftime Floor Show. Check out Choices Flooring's Room View program.
Nick Del Santo, different genres, those 2 quarters.
They were, but they were both incredible in their own ways. And now we've got a lot more questions about, well, probably more from a Brisbane Lions perspective, is how do they cover for the losses? Now, they've already gone to an unusual play in having Jack Payne go forward of the football, still yet to kick a goal in his AFL career, and he won't be doing it tonight as he's been subbed out of the game. Leicester has come on. So how do they replace that? Do they still want to try and have this 3 tall pillar forward line and allowing Charlie Cameron to do what he wants? Or do they actually succumb to just the lack of opportunity and lack of, I guess, firepower forward of the football and actually try and just create a smaller forward line naturally?
What's happening in the midfield?
Well, the midfield has been a superb battle, and it starts with Oscar McInerney, and you guys posed the question, and my answer was I think he can hold his own in the midfield, but it's around the ground that he could have his biggest influence. Now, it was actually the opposite. He's had his biggest influence at the centre square bounce in particular.
3 goals out of the middle, and that's was the Dogs' issue for the 3 or 4 weeks leading in, wasn't it, till last week?
Brisbane Lions are number 1 in the AFL this year for scores from stoppages, averaging 39 points per game. They're already up to 26. And as you mentioned, Hutto, 18 have come directly from the centre square bounce. But he's got a beautiful combination of grabbing out of the ruck when he has to, which forces particularly Lewis Young to do something different. But then at the right time, it's that old surge mentality. It's a really good thing. It puts you on the back foot as a defensive group from the midfield. You can't be so proactive. You can't be roving necessarily to your ruckman, which they would normally do. So I love this change of dynamic that has put the Dogs on the back foot. But I love also the way that they responded, the Dogs. They didn't have as many inside 50s, yet they score when they went forward. And it's been a little bit opportunistic at times, but that's who they are, and that's what they've been forced to be.
So let's work through some of these categories because they will tell the story of the half. Who have you got running hot for Ream? Installer Ream, Australia's favourite in hot water.
What if I was to tell you that Jackson McRae's had 24 disposals and 7 clearances at half-time? A man that just continues to rack up disposals, so he's definitely running hot. He's on track for 48. We saw Lockie Neal have 46 last week. Let's see if McRae can get to 48 and 14 clearances.
The overall stats are out for Safety Steel Sheds, designed to save, built to last. So there's 1 disposal in it, 189, 188 in the Bulldogs' favour. The inside 50s, though, the Lions 37 to 28. So they've got +9 on the inside 50s and they've got a deficit to show for it. The hit-outs 27 to 10. In the Lions' favour, they lead the clearances 22 to 18. The contested possession, the Dogs 81 to 71. The marks, the Lions 41 to 37. The contested marks 3 to 2 the Lions' way. The tackles 32-28. The Lions with 4 extra tackles, and the free kicks are 15 to 12 in the Dogs' favour. Australian-made smart play Look for the logo. Be sure it's Aussie.
I went with Link McCarthy in that first quarter when he was 2v1 at the top of the goal square, and he deliberately tapped it into the path of Charlie Cameron, who was down at ground level. It was a direct tap to him, which resulted in a goal. I thought that was a really smart play.
Support Aussie-made products. One player you could count on in the first half. For one, a beer you can count on.
Well, I want to share the love because Jackson McRae you can always count on. But I've gone with Jared Lyons, who's had 18 disposals, but more importantly, going in 89% disposal efficiency. He's reliable as the day is long.
Haven't there been some big moments of the first half for Bendix Brakes? Confident stopping Bendix Brakes.
I went with injury to Jack Payne.
Yes.
Leicester comes on. Leicester is a different player, obviously. So what do they do? We sat here for an hour pre-game trying to plot where the Magnets would go and who would ultimately go forward. Do they stabilise the defence? Now, it's another conversation, which is the same conversation. You've lost that replacement, so what do you do now? I'll be intrigued to see what they do.
So, Link McCarthy takes an extravagant fly at a pack mark.
Yep.
And he lands, his knee hits the forehead of Jack Payne as they land.
Splits him open. Blood everywhere as he went from the ground. So initially we didn't think it was a concussion issue because Leicester hadn't been activated straight away. And then within probably 5 to 10 minutes, and Leicester hadn't even come onto the ground, which is an interesting one. I'm not sure exactly the strategy behind that, but yeah, it is now confirmed. Leicester is the medical sub that is now activated.
Player power ratings for Red Energy for 100% Australian electricity and gas. Switch today. Call 131806. The fantasy points: McRae 73, Lyons 66, Zorko 64, Dunkley 61, McCluggage 61, and then you get to Daniel 55, Bailey Smith, Lockie Neal, and Charlie Cameron, Daniel Rich, Marcus Bontempelli, all plus 50. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Gee, they've dodged a few reviews and edges, but India none for 73, trial by 26 in the test at the Oval against England.
The unmissable moments for Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. So Charlie Cameron kicked 3 goals in the opening quarter, Dal. His overall finals record, this is his 13th final.
Yes.
He's now kicked 27 goals at this time of year. He kicked 5 against Geelong in a prelim, 5 against Melbourne in a qualifying final last week, 3 against Richmond in a qualifying final, and he's got 3 against the Bulldogs in a semi-final now.
Which is even more incredible by the role that he plays in this team as a small forward, and it's more, you know, when the tools don't mark it, you get your opportunity. And I've actually gone with the unmissable moment. I've gone directly with his third goal, the one where he got it on the run, saw Easton Wood chasing him from behind, he didn't flinch, took a bounce and then nailed one from 45, but he had a blistering opening term.
The toughest player for Happy Tint. Happy Tint, your home, your office, your car.
I've gone with Dane Zorko for a combination of his contested possessions, but also his aggression at the opposition with his 5 tackles. So I love his rounded performance so far, but he's one of many that I could have gone with in the first half.
And the MEGT Rookie of the Day, MEGT, your local apprenticeship experts. Call 13 MEGT today.
There is no direct rookies, but I've gone with Cody Waitman as the best young player. He's only had the 4 disposals, but I loved that goal that he kicked.
And the match review officer did his work from last night, and both Joel Selwood and Tom Hawkins were cleared with insufficient force in the raised forearm to the throat and the roundhouse swing. So both are reportable offences, but they didn't reach the threshold of sufficient force to be graded.
That's about right. That's about right. There'll be a few sceptics out there that have a different opinion, that think that they are a couple of protected players, Hutto, which is always part of this conversation. But I think that's about right given the circumstances and also just the incidents.
The Bulldogs by a point at halftime at the Gabba, the first semi-final. 6-6-42 the Dogs to the Lions 6-5-41. That was the halftime floor show, thanks to Choices Flooring.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
The Monopoly game at Macca's is back, and it's time to get in the game. There's $616 million in prizes to win, like a Volkswagen T-Cross, Red Balloon, gift vouchers, and more. Peel and scan to win at Macca's today. End October 19. Full terms at mcdonalds.com.au.
The all-new Hyundai Tucson is here, and it's as futuristic as it looks. The Tucson is packed with advanced technology.
This is a priority message from the future. All Hyundai Tucsons are the property of 2045. Several pieces of technology contained within the Tucson are banned at any time before 2032. Any all-new Hyundai Tucsons will be confiscated.
All new Hyundai Tucson. Tomorrow wants its car back.
Whether you're a die-hard Demon supporter or a Bulldogs tragic, every footy fan knows in finals there are no guarantees. If you really want to back a winner this September, back a camel. A thirsty camel, that is, with specials like Great Northern Super Crisp 24-pack just $47.99, or Jim Beam White Double Serve and Canadian Club Premium 10-packs only $43.99 this week. Find your local bottle shop at thirstycamel.com.au. T's and C's apply. Hydrate responsibly.
Sustained performance in footy is more than just one great game. It's about playing consistently, game after game, season after season. It's the same with your super. Because if you're with Host Plus, you're the super fund with a history of long-term top performance. Host Plus, we go with you.
This is general advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS available at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Installery.
For the hottest of hot party you've ever seen. Rain comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on.
Want the assurance of an Aussie family-sized electric water heater with a 12-year cylinder warranty?
Installery.
Then accept nothing less than Australia's best.
Okay, guys, Father's Day is this Sunday, and all every dad wants this year is All Day Socks by Underworks. Available at alldaysocks.com and all leading supermarkets.
Australians travel far and wide through our country's tough conditions. So, whether you're crossing the Nullarbor, rounding up cattle, reversing your boat, or getting bopped, rest easy. Amplify Premium Fuels are engineered to handle Australia's tough conditions, so you have peace of mind wherever our fuels take you. Ampol, Australia's own.
What do you think about social distancing? I say get as close as you can. Put your face close to it, sleep with it. It's the Spinalese pillow. If you haven't got your Spinalese pillow, you're probably still waking up tired, sore, and nothing's going to change until you sleep on it. The best pillow to sleep on is the Aussie-made wonder, the Spinalese pillow. We all love it, but you have to make sure it's the original Spinalese. So to order yours with free delivery, just go to spinaleze.com.au. That's spinaleze.com.au. It'll change your life.
I met Sally when we were 16. Yeah, I think I fell in love with her the moment I met her. I love everything about her. Yeah, ever since we were young, we both wanted kids. We got so excited the day we realised we were both ready for that step. So then...
What happens next is up to you, because the only way her story continues is with you. Donate sperm at Monash IVF and make the dream of having a family more than just a dream. Visit monashivf.com today.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
Points over the lines as the two teams are back out on the fields. What do you reckon? Where do we go from here?
Where do we start after what has been an intriguing and thrilling first half of football for both teams, and the way that they've both attacked the game? The score at quarter time was 5-3-33. The Brisbane Lions plays the Dogs 3-4-22. And now we sit here 6-5-41, 6-6-42. So the coaches and the players have the abilities to shut that down. It was getting out of control. We loved it. The listeners loved it, but the coaches didn't. So they have the ability to minimise that scoring. Where do we sit right now? Well, the question for me is, who would I rather be? And I like the movement better of the Brisbane Lions, particularly off the half-back line. So I think they're in a better position
Dogs
as it currently
up.
Cody Waitman a head knock, ran into Marcus Adams late in that second term.
I just saw a glimpse of that. You say ran into Marcus Adams. It was almost the old stop and prop. So as they're both turning to run towards goal for the Dogs, Marcus Adams has just stopped in front of him. With that force, he's run straight into Marcus Adams' body and gone to the ground. So Cody Waitman out. JJ comes on.
Out of next week if they make it, doesn't it? Most likely.
Well, if it's concussion, he's got no choice. Yeah. Absolutely he is.
He kicked 1-goal-1 and he had been lively.
I just had him for the MEGT Rookie of the Day, even though he's not a rookie, but he's the best young player. So who would you rather be right now?
I'm still going to defer to the Dogs. But the most damaging footy has been played by the Lions. Can they restore that? The opening bounce for Tyre Power kicking goals with 25% off Toyo Tyres.
English starts but gets the same treatment. A left-handed smash down by McInerney, read well by Dale off the square. Hand pass to Liberatore. It's the Dogs that go forward first. Young was a threat in the air, but Andrews denied him just enough, and at his feet, Rich versus Vandermeer was a draw.
Looks like Johannesson has gone to the goal scorer as well for the Dogs as he's come on.
English got the tap. Scrambled forward by McInerney. It's helped on by Bailey. Back to the wing. Two lines arrived from different angles. So Leicester, I think, either on the wing or forward, came through without the footy. Oh, Libra looked like he threw that away to Keith. Backed up by Bontempelli. Prolonged tackle from Bailey. He rode him like the 6th at Flemington.
I know it's really difficult for the umpires to see it, and often they are blindsided, and players are so fast, but there is so many throws going on in the game. That is incorrect disposal.
This time it was Lewis against McInerney in the ruck. Lions prodded the kick forward, just out of the grasp of Berry. The handball flicked away at Bailey Williams. He gave it to McRae, just nudged the kick out to the wing, but it pitched well short of the mark. Vandermeer gathered instead by Rich, who slaps it forward. It's an inverted torp, dropped by Eastonwood. That's dangerous. Charlie's away. If he got it cleanly, you won't catch him. He didn't get it cleanly. And the Dogs have numbers there to restore order. Short on the way out to Bontempelli, who saunters across half-back. He's had 2 bounces and now a third for good measure. Got balanced, kicked to half-forward to a one-on-one. Norton versus Adams. Free kick for a bit of jumper extension. Adams has a very innocent look. He hand-passed it off to Bont, who kept on coming, did Norton, and then he's over-clubbed. And it's marked by Starcevic in front of the medical sub who's been activated, Johannesson.
Not a lot of method behind that entry. Inside 50 from the Bont. Very unusual.
Starcevic will clear the defensive area for the Lions. It's to a big pack. Norton had a fly. He marked it on the way down. He is the juggler. So right at the top of the leap, and then he finished it lying on his back. He uses it short to Bontempelli. Will he do for his next trip?
So do we say that he's had good hands tonight, Jared?
That's actually a good question, you know. He hasn't had a one grabber. Bontempelli sets it up in the English direction. He used the body, got rid of Gardner, didn't take the mark though. And Starcevic is wrapped up by Johannesson underneath. It's the Dogs by a point. Tight opening stages of this third quarter AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans.
Those take a little longer to get sorted. Now they ball it up. Grabbed by McInerney at full stretch to get the tap down. Bontempelli ripped it away and kicked it across the face. Hannon and Gardner in vainly chase. It's out of bounds.
Well, Marcus Bontempelli's already had 5 disposals this quarter. Been going a few minutes. He is running hot for Ream.
Boundary umpire just had a quick glance to see where he had to throw it back. The ruckmen are a long way away. So he gets deep down to the knees, squats and throws it back in. Oh, McInerney did all the heavy work, but English put a hand out, tapped it down to Dunkley. Good screw back at goal. But Andrews was right on that last line, and just in case he got a hand to it. I think it was missing anyway. It's a behind. Dogs lead by 2, 6-7-43. Plays 6-5-41. The footy is back with Daniel Rich. A Monopoly game at Macca's bringing you the scoreboard. It's AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. Semi-final between the Bulldogs and the Lions.
Rich into Andrews, onto Starcevic, confronted by Norton, arches the back and slips away. So Starcevic opens the field up ahead. He used every inch of it to find McCarthy against the boundary. McCarthy's got nothing to work with where he was looking on the inboard kick, and instead he kicks long to half forward. No representation in the air for the Lions, but they've got it underneath. Robinson to Neal. The kick was smothered out toward and over the boundary. So neither side locking in the earliest stages of this term just yet. Dogs have doubled the lead to 2. It'll be a boundary throw in. For Spitwater, that's what it does. Right half forward for the Lions. Hoiked into play. Young did well. Double palmed it down to the fronts. They're after it close to the boundary. Dunkley paddled it to Liberatore. Met by Rich as he got the kick away, and as a result, it's out of bounds on the full.
Looks like Josh Dunkley has gone to Lockie Neal as well. So Lockie Neal's up to the 17 disposals for the game.
Short kick from Starcevic to Birchall. Still finds himself at right half back. High ball goes to half forward. Dogs had 3 numbers in the air underneath Bailey. Scramble to kick forward, partially interrupted by Williams. It got to Cameron. He went one way, handball the other. Fulton miscued the left footer. It's not dead yet. McCluggage went to ground and somehow held on. Remarkable. He gets up a bit sore, but not sorry. As Rourke Smith stands the mark, he'll run around. The umpire is just correcting the line he has to start on. He'll edge. He'll open up. And he will kick the goal to give the Lions back the lead at the Gabba. 7-5-47 Brisbane. 6-7-43 the Bulldogs. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. It's game on at Macca's and it's game on at the Gabba.
I just feel like it's going to be moments like that that you just take an unusual opportunity. And that was a beautiful juggling grab. What was your numbers with him before? You said he's the best kick inside forward 50?
Most goal assists.
Most goal assists.
But his kicking at goal itself has been a real problem for 3 years.
Well, it has been. So he's had this is his 24th game this year and he's kicked 15 goals. But he puts himself in a great position here against Rourke Smith.
15 goals, 20.
Yeah. And for an elite player and a man with elite skills, probably not good enough, but
last 3 weeks
steps up when they need him.
4 goals straight in the last 4 weeks now.
That is a Bendix Brakes big moment. Confident stopping Bendix Brakes. They've split the time in front in this game, and it's now the Lions' turn. They're up by 4. McInerney wins the tap. Bontempelli, though, onto the footy. Hand pass to Treloar. Confronted. Got it out the side to Dunkley. He worked it out the back to Dale. Can work the kick to half forward. Coleman saw it coming. Dropped the intercept mark, but Rich is on the tidy-up. He's the give and go with Robertson. And Rich lets fly into the 50. It clears the initial pack. Charlie Cameron might have just overcommitted at the last. And it skipped away out of play. 25 around from the goal fronts. Lions by 4. Bit further around from goal, in fact. It's 40 metres away from the target area. Dogs have a lead in the contested possession counts. Robinson's left to do the ruck work against English, who tried to spike it clear. He did successfully knock it to Liberatore, who cleared the area out in front of the interchange gates. Norton will see it to the boundary. And over.
So Fulton must be off the ground.
He is, Hutto.
Yeah.
Having a rest with Birchall, Lyons and Berry.
For quick as they know, freightquickaz.com.au. At the throw-in, McInerney knocks it boundary side. Zorko took it. Quick turn of speed to give it back to Coleman, who gets under the kick inside the 50. Danaher presents. McCarthy stays down as Crummer. Clever pick-up. Hand pass trying to find its way to Cameron, but it was deflected out into the crowd for a further throw-in.
So surprisingly, Charlie Cameron's not going to these contests in forward 50. He's playing in front of the football in a round-up role. So trying to pressure the man off the back who's an extra for the Dogs in Bailey Dale. Love to see him in there, create some havoc.
Throw in, takes place 35 metres around from Brisbane's goal. Danaher did the tapping, but the Bulldogs get control back of the footy. Bontempelli to Bailey Williams. It's a quick kick, and Zorko was able to keep his eyes on it and take that sliding chest mark. He's improved the angle. He'll kick it to the top of the square. He kept it low. Joe had both hands wrapped around it. It jolted out. Bontempelli whacked it out of McCluggage's hands. Loose ball there to be won. Absorbing all of the pressure was Keith. Or Gardner, in fact, and it's going to be a ball up. Was he chopped, Danaher?
No, just missed it, Hutto.
Okay. Umpire Del Santo said play on. Now, on the restart, it's at his boot. Straps, grab by Smith, gave it to Dale. He got a quick handball to Gardner. It's a high kick. The danger hasn't passed yet. Johannesson split the contest. McCarthy ready to jump on it. Daniels, those swift hands to the outside. Vandermeer. It's open country ahead. He kicks to the width on the wing. It's marked by Hannon. Brisbane have the extra slip behind the play. So he just pumps the brakes. Waiting, and retreating. Partially at least.
It's almost like we need a Twitter account to judge all the umpiring decisions, Hutto, to see if they were correct or not.
Liberatore to Hunter, to Bailey Smith, and then to Johannesson. His is the kick into the pocket. It didn't do Norton any favours. He was caught behind his signalling. He wanted that towards the goal square to run back with the flights.
Well, he's got a valid point. Jared, because even if he marks that, he's on such a tight angle in the pocket. You're actually making it easier for the defender to punch it over the line in a non-threatening position of the ground.
Dogs work a forward 50 stoppage at the throw-in. The Pretoria was lethal from these in the opening term. It's knocked to the back for Robinson. He got it off to McCluggage, who broke clear of Bailey Smith, and he guides the Lions to the near wing. Leicester's first involvement is a sliding mark, and he guides it forward the play to Zach Bailey, brings it up to centre forward. It bounced past Cockatoo. McCluggage had eyes for it. He was taken without it by Treloar, who just anticipated that McCluggage would gather and was over-eager.
He has been a class above tonight, Hugh McCluggage. Not that he isn't an elite player already. He's coming of age in a huge game. His endeavour and his work rate, we know his numbers in that first half ticking just over 8 kilometres, which is elite at any level.
So Hutto's told you he's straightened things out in recent times. This is a set shot at goal, straight in front, 50 out, swings the right boot through it, and he's pulled it across the face of goal. The Lions lead it by 5. The Monopoly game at Macca's scoreboard.
McRae 25, Bontempelli 23, leading all comers on the Safety Steel Sheds stats sheet. Lions by 5. Bailey Dale. A full exploration with his eyes, and then the kick towards half-back was partially interfered with by McInerney. It got to Cockatoo. He charged off. He gave a handball to Starcevic. Just was able to slide through the tackle. Played it short.
Try again, McCluggage.
And McCluggage has the mark. It's right on the limits for him. He's going to have to kick it a full 50. He thinks he can.
Well, he just had a similar kick distance-wise. This one on a tighter angle. He's kicked 9 goals, 8 from set shots this year.
A little closer to the boundary, but favours the right foot. McCluggage remained relaxed. It was touched by the man on the mark, and it was tugged to the left. So a couple of blemishes after I mentioned how he'd cleaned up his kicking. Should be a surprise to no one. 7-7-49 to 6-7-43. The Monopoly game. It's back at Macca's.
He has been profoundly influential, though. Caleb Daniel kicks it in long, found Liberatore against the boundary. Brings it inboard for Bailey Smith. So the Dogs have it at right half-back. They trail by a goal. Across the defensive goal front for Keith. Bailey Smith kept on coming to be viable on the outlets.
Inside 50s, 44 to 31 now.
Just got enough on the kick to get it to Hunter, who was mown down by Mitch Robinson. Leicester is going to pinch it. Oh, and kick to Charlie Cameron, who's unmarked. He did take a step. The umpire's okay with that. He is wide out on the right, Charlie Cameron.
Make it 45 to 31 now.
It's quite the differential that's opening up, and 7-1 in this quarter. Charlie Cameron, he's going to work it around the perimeter as he measures off the kick to Zach Bailey, who gives him the thumbs up.
Yes. It's very odd, isn't it? Hasn't kicked the goal yet. Thanks for that, Naggers.
I love that. It'll save him going over and saying thank you after he kicks the goal.
Big deep breath. The magnitude of these moments grow in a tight match. The Lions clearly have momentum through the first half of this term to put it adequately on the board. Zach Bailey from 50 out. Gorgeous kick. Never deviated in flights. We've seen that before. They're up by 12, the Lions. 8-7 to 6-7 on the Monopoly game at Macca's scoreboards. There's 10:25 to go in the third term on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock.
Well, it was a great play in the end from Charlie Cameron, but the Dogs will be really disappointed that they weren't covering all the options inside. You could see Charlie's eyes were darting, looking for a better angle, even though he had every right and would have clearly made the distance from where he was. And yet they've let Zach Bailey sit 40 out from goal in a more simplistic position. So that's the other bit of news that's just popped up. Jared Berry, who we saw that concussion, or what we thought was a concussion, when he was tackling Marcus Bontempelli in the second quarter. He hit his head, or the back of his head, on the turf. He appears to be possibly out of the game, but he's definitely on the bench. So they've already used the medical sub, Hutto.
They take a 12-point lead now out of the middle. McCluggage is onto it again, off to Lyons. The kick to a one-on-one. It just slipped away from Leicester. Here's Cameron again. He wrong foots Duray. He handballs to Leicester. Deep into the pocket. It got away from Bailey Dale, but the boundary line was too close for McCarthy. They're under real pressure now, this Bulldogs defence.
They're holding up okay considering the amount of inside 50, so it's still 9-3 this quarter, Hutto.
Hook back into play by the boundary umpire now. Ruck work done. Fullerton versus Young. Fullerton got the handball up. Bailey tried to force his way through the Bailey Smith tackle to no avail. Bontempelli got a handball away to Caleb Daniel. Worked up against the line. He's kicked it well, but there's still danger there for Bailey Smith. Lines are everywhere. Neil rocketed through. Got a hand pass designed for McCluggage. Well played by Bontempelli, but then Keith's kick was smothered by Robertson. And the ball remains deep in those pockets
and this
to the
is
line.
Exhausting football. The Lions with this frontal pressure, just locking it in their forward half. The Dogs under a lot of pressure to try and get it out. They're all scrappy kicks.
Lead by 12. There's Charlie. They're zipping around underneath the throw-in. Tapped away by Fulton and went straight to Caleb Daniel. Left footer out of there. It bounced in front of Johannesson wanting to get into the game. It fell nicely for Bailey Smith with a surge mentality. He kicks it forward and a little untidy. Hannon shunted illegally into the man in front, Darcy Gardner. Dizzy Gardner with a free handball at halfback.
He uses it to Birchall, who measures off his kick for Lions. Where will their proactive football come from, the Dogs? They are grimly hanging on at the moment, down by 12.
Joel looks a bit glum out in the control room.
The Joel-o-meter has turned.
The barometer.
Lions popped it out the side. Ooh. Adams, it's a scungy old kick to half forward. And a good diving mark taken in defence by Rourke Smith.
And a real let-off there, Jared. That ball should be inside 50 again for the Lions.
Luke Beveridge has sensed that he's come down to the bench. Rourke Smith, half-distance pass up the wing. Norton brought it to ground. McRae onto it. Swings the kick inside. This should work. Or Shaki dropped the mark. Had time to get it to Hannon, who screwed it through for a behind. They screwed it up. That's terrible by Shaki. And Hannon could have tidied it up, but not to be. It was what they needed, and they're down by 11.
They're hard moments to come back from, particularly for the individual. McCluggage, as they plot their path on the way out. The Dogs just need the tonic of a goal. Instead, they're watching a handball display. And good fight by Cockatoo after it looked untidy for a moment. Got it to Leicester. He wobbles in the Cameron direction. Duray is now his opponent. And he showed all his experience and expertise to work off him and take the mark.
Eastonwood's on the bench. That's why Duray's taken responsibility for Charlie Cameron.
Might keep him there. The way he's handled it so far. Off to McRae, just chisels one short and finds Lockie Hunter just behind the wing. He waits for run potentially, and a tired McRae was ignored. So that accentuated his disappointment and exhaustion. As Hunter kicks to half forward, again to a one-on-one. Shaki versus Andrews. Split the contest. Treloar, Burrows in, got a handball to Vandermeer. Creative. Hannon, a chance. But across the face it goes. They've blown a couple. That's on the full. That was much more difficult.
But the Dogs have stopped the momentum of the Lions, Hunter, which is probably the most important right now. A goal is a bonus, but to be able to get the ball from your back half into your forward half and maintain some possession has been significant in the last 5 minutes.
Margin stays 11. The McNopoly game at Macca's. Long kick on the way out from the Lions. It's a neutral as Williams was rounded up by Robinson. Luke Beveridge is living all of this down on the bench for Quick As. They know freight, quickas.com.au as Hannon's kicked it behind and one out on the full in the past 90 seconds. Dunkley tried to crash his way through, but no chance to get rid of it. Tossed up again. Fulton spikes it forward for the Lions. They had Danaher try to knock it further on and McCarthy the same. Daniel against the flow. Out to Keith, who knocked it down rather than taking possession. Then laid a tackle. Off the ground went Zach Bailey. McRae goes to try to win a hard ball, but it spilt the way of Mitch Robinson, who kicked it decisively forward to Rain. Cameron went to ground, and Cameron regathered his footing. They never saw him again, but Charlie blew it. From the pocket, he'd opened the angle. He hit the wrong part of the ball and missed the lot. No, snuck it in for a behind on the far side. 12-point margin, the Lions' way on the Monopoly game at Macca's scoreboard.
He's just hit the belly of the ball as he was opening up the angle. He was off to celebrate.
Taylor Duray just calls to Easton Wood. When are you going back?
Tag out.
Daniel kicks to the wing. Numbers there. Young flew. It came through to Dunkley. Just edges a kick forward. It's tossed high. Gardner had prime position. Knocked it away. Well done by Hannon, though. Kept it alive. That's advantage paid, taken by Vandermeer. Now Treloar's got a chance. He'll need the bounce. He doesn't get it. He bows his head as Robertson won the footy for Brisbane. He came back Treloar, but a moment too late. Although the kick was over the top of Coleman. Bontempelli, the here, the now. The skipper won't miss. It may have been touched. I think it is, judging by the body language by the Bont. He didn't look convinced as he celebrated.
Calls a goal. Please check it wasn't touched.
But it was called a goal.
Well, the umpire has to call it a goal because he can't see 45 metres away.
But sometimes the field umpires call it touched off the boot and then have to get it checked. But
so did the field umpire call it touched off the boot? Because this camera angle and how blurry it is, this doesn't have the right to be turned over as it currently stands, Hutto.
Soft call was a goal. Now, you can't guess, Dal. They can guess, but you can't. Okay, I won't let you.
This is for thirsty Camel bottle shops.
I'm going to go on the reaction of, was it Gardner on the smother?
So just the preface is, there's no doubt he's touched it, but can you actually see it?
No, I can't see that clearly to be able to be turned over on that vision. And if they do, they're guessing just like we are. But the response from Marcus Bontempelli when he kicks his first goal of the game in a significant moment to not celebrate at all tells me that he knows 1.5 metres off that boot that was touched.
Yeah.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball deviates after making contact with the Brisbane defender's hand.
As long as they say it with confidence.
That it's true.
Yeah. It deviates. It doesn't deviate. It doesn't deviate. It just keeps on going.
They just need to say we just judged it off Marcus's response and we'll all accept it.
On the balance of probabilities, it was probably touched. We're going with that.
It's an 11-point margin the Lions' way, so it plays a big role. Hannon... Well, Shaki drops a mark that should have been a goal. Hannon kicks one out on the full and Bontempelli has one overruled. Long kick on the way out from the Lions is turned over. Daniel to English, hangs it up inside the 50. Adams made the spoil. What's underneath? Rourke Smith was there. He might wish he hadn't have been as he's mauled. Fullerton and Robinson deal with him. It'll be tossed up 50 out from the Dogs' goal.
So Berry is also out of the game. So the Lions are now a man short, just 3 on the bench.
Del Santo for car sales, everything you ought to know. McRae fashioned some sort of kick. It trickled across the 50. Vandermeer brought to ground by Coleman, dispossessed. He was hunted down.
Which will also mean that he's out of next week's game if they are to go on and win this.
50.
The Dogs mucked around with a footy when they weren't entitled to.
Coleman's become a player, hasn't he?
He's a really good player, Hutto. You're spot on. He's brave. He goes for his marks. He puts his head over the football. He's been clean tonight.
It was Rourke Smith who went on with it. Coleman uses it well to Robinson. He tried to rifle the kick up to Fullerton on the lead, but Hunter read the angles. Tipped it away out of play. Thrown in, Lions inside 50. They lead by 11 points. There's 5:31 to go in the term on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock.
Berry's got ice on his leg as well. I wonder if that's just because he's out with concussion, but he's got the big ice pack on his leg. Throw in forward pocket. Grabbed out of the ruck by English. Wiped out by a cockatoo smother. Lions got busy, but his handball was a bit rushed and directionless. Gathered by Bailey Williams. He had the luxury of time and space to get a clearing kick. They fight and scrap on the wing. Lewis Young tapped it for. There's Lions everywhere. Coleman flicked out the handball to Zorko. The soft touch on the kick was a beauty. And it's marked by Leicester.
So the medical sub on the ground, Hutto.
Marks inside 50, which were really poor last week. Oh, the handoff to Rich. He's got to kick at 55. And in doing so, he dragged it. So Leicester wasn't confident in his own ability. Just saying, those marks inside 50, I think they only had 5 for the whole game last week. So to have 9 already is a significant improvement, obviously. 8-9-57 to 6-9-45. If it's about taking your chances, I don't know who's going to win.
AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. Caleb Daniel drives it in strongly up the middle. English dropped the mark that he should have taken, but he spins away with it, then ran into Coleman, who got him and downed him again. Coleman's making a claim here for the toughest player for happytint.com.au as he wins another holding the ball verdicts. Across to Neil and out the near side to Adams. 2 drop marks are going to haunt the Dogs in this term. First Shaki and then that one by English right in the middle. Coleman on the build-up of the ball. Up to Zorko. Back to Coleman. He's in the centre of the field. He guides his kick nonchalantly. Up went Danaher. Down stayed Lester. He hit the target. The swinging snap. The sub has his say in affairs, and this is a game-high 18-point lead. Ominously, late in the third term, the Lions' way. 9-9-63 to the Dogs, 6-9-45. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back, game on.
I'm starting to get their reward on the scoreboard for their dominance this quarter. The 14 inside 50s to the Dogs, just the 7. And then now there's 7 scoring shots. 3 goals for as a result of those 14 inside 50s. They're controlling the clearances. They've had more tackles, twice as many tackles. But what I've loved is Coleman's last 5 minutes. A couple of huge tackles to keep the ball in the front half. And finally, they get a little bit of luck. The ball bobbles into Leicester's hands. The left foot snap, which didn't look pretty, but it was effective. And we've got a warning against the Brisbane Lions for incorrectly being set up.
They've both had a warning for the game. Monopoly game at Macca's, 63 plays 45. 9-9-6-9, 4 minutes to go. The Bulldogs are going to show something. English showed desperation. Liberatore socketed forward. Rich scrapped against Treloar. Bailey Smith out wide. Johannesson receives from McRae, and he has kicked it. He's kicked it. It was a close run thing. It was up against the left-hand goalpost. In fact, they might even check to see whether it was touched, whether it's hit the post or not.
Goal. Can you please check to see whether it hit the goalpost?
Yep. So they're just going to tick all the boxes here. And if they guess again and...
Well, just go straight to the snicko.
Dueling medi-subs. How about that?
Yeah. It looks like there's a gap in the game here, as Kingy would say, between post and ball. India done for 83, trailing by 16 for Chemist Warehouse.
We might need to borrow their snicko from that game. Here it is. Here comes the...
Looking at these angles, there is no deviations. The ball passes the post and no spike on edge. Decision on the scoreboard.
So Thirsty Camel bottle shots bring us the score review, confirming it is a goal. Their first of the third term. If you're thirsty at home, alcohol delivered ASAP. thirstycamel.com.au.
Great response from the Dogs. Exactly what they needed to keep themselves in touch as this quarter was getting away and the game as a result. And as it bobbled out to Jason Johannesson, it was off a couple of steps. We know how penetrating he is with his kicking. That's the impact you want from your medical sub.
That ends a run of 4 Brisbane goals. Can the Dogs jag one more? They're down by 12. The Monopoly game at Macca's scoreboard. Cody Waitman sits in the back row out of the game with a head knock. And the Lions have got 2 who are done, Payne and Berry. So it has been an attritional evening at the Gabba, which has ramifications within the game, but also for whoever goes on to Adelaide Oval next Saturday night. 12-point margin, high bounce in the middle. English wins the tap, Liberatore's after the footy. Robinson came from the wing and then striding through was Neil. No penetration on the kick though. Dale brought it to ground against McCluggage. Up comes Charlie Cameron into the middle of the field. He tackles his opposite number 23 Vandermeer and it'll be a ball up. Adjacent to the centre circles. McInerney tried to spike it forward. Duray was being held by one arm just back off the play. Caleb Daniel was told that he could go if he wanted to, and then the umpire decided that he just wasn't quite ready for that call. So they'll reset the fields. Duray's ball. Dogs with a chance to come forward. He veers out to the left and unloads inside the 50. 2-on-2 in the air. Norton disrupted the pack. English plays Crummer. Hand pass to Shaki. Worked it around to Treloar. Didn't get enough on the snap. And it hits the goal post or hits the behind post. Out of bounds on the full. 2:58 to go in the third term.
Still not having much impact, is he, Adam Treloar?
No, just had the 8 disposals, Hutto. He's playing predominantly as a small forward. Haven't seen him come through the midfield at all.
Starcevic bangs it up to the wing. English is there. He got moved in the contest. There's multiple
It's going to be
ways
50.
it could have gone. It was marked by Keith, and now it's 50.
McCluggage came in from the side to stand the mark well ahead of where it should have been.
A deliberate act, or he didn't know?
Oh, well, he just wandered in and you're not allowed to do it.
Alex Keith just kicked 2 goals from his 70 AFL games and clearly hasn't kicked a goal this year.
Oh, now would be a good time, wouldn't it?
Let's see this kicking style of the left footer.
One stage his dreams of the Gabba would have been thundering in from the Stanley Street end. Instead, he stands there on the half-forward flank with the number 42 across his back, and despite the build-up, he misses. It sneaks in for a behind only. 7-10, 52 to 9-9 at 63. An 11-point margin with 2 minutes 22 to go in the third term, Rich. Yeah.
It's the litany of sins in this quarter from the Dogs. It grows long on the kick in. And onto it is McCluggage. He turned his way out of trouble. High ball down the wing. Dogs have good numbers at it. Keith, well, he tumbled in, but he didn't take the mark, and then he paddled it out the side and didn't get it to Dale. So Fullerton is in the race, and he paddles it out of bounds at the interchange.
Just feel like whoever gets the next goal, if there is to be one in this remaining 2 minutes, it's significant going into the last term.
The Dogs couldn't concede it. They couldn't turn 17 points down.
Oh, by the way, they've missed these opportunities in this quarter, Jared. 4
just
legitimate opportunities.
The sniff of it at home that the Lions would have. Off the ground goes Lions up inside the 50. Zach Bailey's dispossessed by Bailey Dale. They fight on. Wood took the footy. He's held up by Cockatoo.
If Luke Beveridge gets any closer, he'll be on the ground.
Yep.
He's standing up, got the chest puffed out, screaming instructions.
Cody Waitman looks like he might bite his thumbnail right off. Dale has his kick smothered. Lyons was a bit loose with his hand pass, though, and the Dogs recover. Rorke-Smith out to Dale, who cleared the area initially. Vandermeer had all the numbers against him, and Robinson straight back in. Haphazard kick. Well cut off by McRae. It was hurtling, and it flung him backwards as he took the mark. But he has it safely in his possession. Can the Dogs create something late in the third term? McRae dumps it down the line. Bontempelli went into the pack. Didn't finish the mark, though. Rorke-Smith tackled. And it'll be balled up at halfway. 1:10 to go. It's the Lions by 11, the Monopoly game at Macca's.
Don't block, don't block.
They throw it up. McInerney in front. English hacked forward by Liberatore. They hold, and now Johannesson came through in a sprightly fashion, but such was his haste to kick the ball. He socketed out of bounds on the full. So it'll be in possession of Coleman, who's been one of the stars of this third term. He's at left half back. Can they find a way forward to get a crack at it? It's placed up on the wing. It's a high ball. English went tumbling through. Zorko was impeded as he tried to handball it away. Surprisingly little pressure around the big guy, McInerney.
No, umpire.
Umpire's called it deliberate. Astonishing. It was just a terrible error.
It's missed his handball, which I think was meant to go to Mitch Robinson, by a metre or two. Yes, it was a poor handball, but it wasn't deliberate.
So instead, it's the Bulldogs thrusting. Norton flying, not quite marking. Dunkley dug in and got the ball out. It's slapped back to the wing, though, for the Brisbane Lions. Liberatore didn't panic. He had a fumble from Bailey Dale trying to come through without the football. And McCluggage, he's piled onto here by Norton. He's got claims. Yes, it's holding the ball. So they will get their attempt to go forward. From the wing, with 23 seconds on the clock, the coach, Fagan, is aghast at the call. Oh, they've made a mess of it again. Somehow it's played on into the space, though. And McRae hits up Johannesson. And a furious Chris Fagan tries not to show it as he writes a couple of notes down. I hope they're for his players, not for the umpire at three-quarter time.
Call AFL.
Yeah. Cole Geesh. Oh, no, he's not in the job anymore.
Boy, what a kick this is.
Cool. After the siren at three-quarter time, the umpire just reminds him of what he can and can't do.
He needs to know the rules himself.
Jason Johannesson, more famous in big games for the running goals. He's got 50 metres in him, but he has not got the accuracy. It was never online. And it caps off a quarter of wasted opportunities for the Western Bulldogs. It was a quarter that really belonged to Brisbane. They deserved their lead. It's 9-9-63 to 7-11-53. 10 points splits them. A quarter to go. A preliminary final place on the line.
Multiple goal kickers. Charlie Cameron with 3. Tom Liberatore with 2. AFL Nation is for Athena Home Loans.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for McDonald's. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Game on.
When you want something that hits the spot, but you don't have time to stop, you can't go past a 4 and 20 Traveller. Available in a range of mouth-watering flavours such as classic beef and the tempting beef, cheese and bacon, they're the perfect snack to enjoy anytime, anywhere. Yep, it's no wonder our Travellers are the original and still the best. Find your favourite 4 and 20 Traveller in your local supermarket freezer aisle and convenience store pie warmer today.
Serious outdoor work requires serious outdoor tools. And this season, Makita is helping you rule the outdoors. Right now, you can grab yourself a free Makita brushless blower when you buy any selected Makita LXT 18V x2 brushless lawnmower kit. Hurry. Limited time only. Offer via online redemption. Visit makita.com.au for details. Makita. Rule the outdoors.
It's time to make the call and switch to Kogan Mobile, because right now you can get started with Kogan from just $4.90 for 30 days. Yep, just $4.90 for 30 days. Thousands of Aussies have already made the call and switched for unlimited calls and texts and a big 40 gig of data at award-winning prepaid prices. Get started now with Kogan Mobile from just $4.90 for the first 30 days at koganmobile.com.au/footy.
Hard Yakka is known for making tough look good. And their new men's and women's winter range is no exception. Check out the new winter staple, the Zooty, your all-in-one hoodie and jacket, available in checked grey, red and watermelon. Or the new Ripstop cargo pant, available at hardyakka.com.au and available stockists. Hard Yakka, for a new breed of Aussie legends.
I always wanted kids. Having a family was the dream. I guess I just never found the right person to do it with. For a while, it did really upset me. But then I thought, you know what? I can do it on my own. So
What happens next is up to you, because the only way her story continues is with you. Donate sperm at Monash IVF and make the dream of having a family more than just a dream. Visit monashivf.com today.
Sustained performance in footy is more than just one great game. It's about playing consistently, game after game, season after season. It's the same with your super. Because if you're with Host Plus, you're the super fund with a history of long-term top performance. Host Plus, we go with you.
This is general advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus BDS available at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Whether you're a die-hard Demon supporter or a Bulldogs tragic, every footy fan knows in finals there are no guarantees. If you really want to back a winner this September, back a camel. A thirsty camel, that is, with specials like Great Northern Super Crisp 24-pack just $47.99, or Jim Beam White Double Serve and Canadian Club Premium 10 packs only $43.99 this week. Find your local bottle shop at thirstycamel.com.au. T's and C's apply. Hydrate responsibly.
Oh, we gotta warm this place up.
Warm up and dry out this winter with Jetfire Industrial LPG and diesel-fired heaters. They're fully automatic, reliable, portable and packed with safety features. Ideal for heating sheds, warehouses, workshops or even drying paint and plaster. Jetfire, a trusted Australian brand for over 35 years. Brought to you by the makers of Spitwater Pressure Cleaners. Visit spitwater.com.au or call 1-800-SPITWATER.
That's what it does.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club. Highlights for McDonald's. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Game on.
It's not dead yet. McCluggage went to ground and somehow held on. He'll open up and he will kick the goal to give the Lions back the lead at the Gabba.
Charlie Cameron, he's going to work it around the perimeter as he measures off the kick to Zach Bailey, who gives him the thumbs up.
It's very odd, isn't it?
Zach Bailey from 50 out. Gorgeous kick. Never deviated in flight. Up went Danaher. Downstayed Leicester. He hit the target. The sub has his say in affairs. Both coaches urging their troops on at the three-quarter time huddle. Those highlights for McDonald's. Taste Macca's iconic classic double burgers today. It is the Lions by 10 points at the final change. Nick Del Santo.
Well, to summarise that quarter and maybe the game, it's been the missed opportunities the Dogs go forward. They could have kicked 3, 4, possibly 5 goals from their opportunities inside 50 that quarter, but they didn't. And it was the Lions that took their opportunities as they kicked 3 goals for as they went forward. Tim English starting in the middle. He's got to have a huge quarter. It's the Dogs that have got on top in the stoppages, particularly around the ground, as Oscar McInerney had a huge first half. 10 points the margin, definitely not out of it. And without stating the bleeding obvious, the first goal is enormous because of those opportunities.
Yeah. You wouldn't think that the Dogs could come from 16 down.
No.
So the opening bounce of the final term for Tyre Power, your premiership favourite for Toyo Tyres. Port Adelaide awaits the winner. It's the Lions by 10. You heard the thump of the bounce go down. Liberatore roves the tap. Hand passed out the side for McRae. Tumbles it up toward the 50. No Mark Vandermeer. Bontempelli overran the footy. It was thrown up by Dunkley to Johannesson. He squeezed the kick off to the side. Shackey slides in, got it up. Vandermeer works it around to Hunter. He needs a target in the channel, and he found one in McRae. That's a good contested mark.
No, Lockie, just come back.
Yep. Well, he's taken the mark anyway. I'd pay that a mark. I'd say it's a mark. I think he's been called for a push, Lockie Neal, or tunnelling, or both. I'll just give him the mark. Jackson McRae's coming up for disposal number 34.
So a litany of missed opportunities in the third term. Jack McRae, nobody's had it more. The Dogs need him desperately now. He's kicked it at the left post and fed it in. McRae delivers that crucial first blow of the final term. And the margin is back to 4 points. The Lions 9-9-63. The Dogs 8-11-59 on the Victoria Police Supply Now scoreboard.
Just his 6th goal of the season.
What a time to kick it, Hutto. And what a way to start this last quarter. And you called it perfectly, Jared. If it had gone down the other end in the exact same circumstances and it went out to a 16-point margin, it makes it difficult for the Dogs. But they're hanging in there, even with all those opportunities that they've wasted going forward. Jackson McRae can't help but find the football as he leans to the right to make sure that ball curls back.
He'd be a good golfer.
He'd be a very, very good golfer.
He rode it all the way to the green, didn't he, that time? Cody Waitman's up and about on the bench. He's gone to cheerleader. He's good at that too, I reckon.
Got a bit of the Paddy Mills towel waving from the bench.
Margin back to 4. It's the way we wanted it. Slightly offset of the bounce. Grabbed by McInerney. Hugged it to his chest and then kicked it forward. Fullerton was hanging on to Gardner, I fancy. And the free kick is going the way of the Bulldogs. Centre half back Ryan Gardner. A hand pass. Takes it wide. Bouncing up to receive is Taylor Duray. Took the extra couple of metres and then kicks beyond the wing. English fought it out with McInerney. Coleman again. A hand pass to Robinson. Back to Neal. A hurried ball down the line right in the lap of Bailey Dale. Dale, a short opportunity. He needed to be pinpoint. He was. Liberatore next. On the logo on the wing, more of the same. They control the footy to Rorke-Smith. Maybe a bit of confidence returning with the Dogs. A hand pass to the outside. McRae with the entry kick beyond Shackey. Sliding in. Hannon really didn't ever have balance, and probably a ball up wasn't a bad result because he's going to find it hard to find a teammate on the ground.
And I reckon the change has been made on to Charlie Cameron. It's now Duray. Eastonwood's been reprieved of his responsibility.
Tap to the outside. McRae, full body dive and a hand pass in the one motion. Lions tried to poke it out of there. Coleman head over the football, met by Liberatore. It's 40 metres out from goal. It's going to be hard to break the deadlock here. And we've got another ball up. 9-9-63 Brisbane. 8-11-59 the Western Bulldogs. The Dogs have the territory. They have a bit of momentum. English whacks away, but it's grabbed by McInerney. Sends the ball on the bump back to the wing. McCarthy, it slipped through his hands, and so to Eastonwood. And now Charlie's got it and he's away. He's had a bounce before you know it. Pursued by Williams, who stuck to his task well. And surprisingly, Charlie kicked it when maybe he didn't need to. He missed his man. It slides out of bounds, at least from a Brisbane Lions point of view. They now have the territorial advantage. It's still a 4-point margin. Victoria Police scoreboard. Play now.
Boundary throw in for Spitwater. That's what it does. 50 out from the Lions goal. English doing more of the ruck work as the game has gone on against McInerney, who's been a clear and present threat. He hand passed it out of him, in front of himself, the big O, and then paddled it the rest of the way over. Try again. All the setups around the stoppages, which are so studied and learned behaviours. Is everyone where they should be? As the Lions look to create a goal, English flies across the front. Mitch Robinson, defensive side of it. Gets the kick back inside 50. It hangs up. Gardner for the Dogs knocked it toward the boundary and successfully over. Deeper and deeper into Lions territory. There are tense minutes ahead. It's felt this way all night. There's 17:21 to go on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock. It's the Lions by 4, deep forward. McInerney won the tap down, socket off the ground by English to Bontempelli, who cleared the area. Contest up near the wing. Shackey and Andrews. Andrews, he's like treacle tonight, but he won it away to Coleman and then to Adams under pressure. Back to Coleman. Dropped the footy in the Vandermeer tackle, not holding the ball, then pulled it in. Paddled it out, so he got away with one there, Coleman. Off to Adams. Kick for Lions, who's got it forward of centre.
He decides to hand pass with momentum, Starcevic, but his kick was smothered by Bailey Dale. Maybe even been an accident. It sits at centre half forward. And the numbers clog things up. Bontempelli and Zach Bailey get to their feet. That was an excellent smother. Look at the replay by Rourke Smith, I think it was, coming in from the side.
Textbook, arms out, Hutto, like he was diving into a pool and tucked his head in.
Smacked forward by McInerney, grabbed by Bailey Dale. He wore the contact, got through the tackle, emerged, had an array of options. He decided to handball. Instead, he went to Hunter. He kicks wide for Bailey Smith. He's got 2 metres on Gardner. He's got 3 as he peers. This is your moment, Shackey. Got it on the bounce. Well done. He's curled it through. He's given them the lead. We didn't necessarily expect that. He owed them one. He pays them back, but it was great play up the field.
It was. As they burst into space off the half-back line, they go via the wing. And there's the example of Harris Andrews and his inability over the last couple of weeks to move freely. He got caught in no man's land and didn't have the ability to work back and put pressure on Shackey, who had doubled back towards goal. And ultimately gets caught in no man's land. But well done by Bailey Dale off the half-back line. They broke a tackle. They created the passage of play.
Harris Andrews can't go a yard tonight. Playing him has been a gamble. And that's a moment against a Bendix breaks. Big moment if ever there was one. Confident stopping. Bendix breaks. 2-point lead Dogs way. English rises high, wins the tap. They try through McRae to knock it on and successfully get it to Hunter. Not a great kick inside the 50. Rich nearly barreled his own man, Darcy Gardner, but he stood his ground and took the intercept mark.
There's been enough friendly fire from this club over the last couple of weeks, Jared. No more.
So they were 18 points up late in the third turn, the Lions, and now they're chasing the game. And they do know this tight scenario in finals at the Gabba. Down the line it went. Neal worked a hand pass out to Zach Bailey. High to half forward. Up went McCarthy, but he dropped the mark. He tackles Daniel. Worked he dispossessed him at least and can't understand why he didn't win holding the ball. Liberatore quickly forward in the Trelaw direction. Vandermeer plays Crummer. Sweeping hand pass to Johannesson. Short on the kick for Bailey Smith, not 15. He wheels and looks and steers and goes. Bailey Smith got it there. Shackey Shepherd's at home. And the Dogs are on a lightning run.
It was a shocking kick.
They're up by 8. 10-11 to 9-9 on the Victoria Police Supply Now scoreboard.
It's the old golf saying, Hutto. It's how many, not how, as that was a dreadful kick for goal. He put himself under a little bit of pressure, or was forced upon him, given that it wasn't the 15 metres. He kicked it off the instep, which makes the ball go left to right for the right footer. It was a tight kick, but Shaki did a brilliant job on the goal line just to protect the space without giving away a free kick.
It was a woomer banger.
What's a woomer banger?
Oh, it was one of Rexy's old ones.
That.
Yeah,
that. Exactly.
That's the definition. I love it.
Wow, this has come in surges, and it's the Dogs at the moment. As always, it's about capitalising when the moments are there. Lockie Neal, Daniel Rich get some respite on the bench. They'll need to be back in action shortly. English climbs over McInerney. How much juice has he got left? Lyons does his best. Tunneled it back to McCluggage. McRae on the job with the tackle. Wow, that's a lightning call. And, Oscar McInerney. Free kick goes to Tim English.
That was by the non-controlling umpire as well, Hutto.
Right. He's still perplexed by it as he's standing on the mark. And now English goes wide, and then wider still off the boot of Alex Keith. Marked by McRae. 8-point margin. Goes out wide. Kick goes up towards the leading Shaki. Andrews escorted him under the footy that time. And Bontempelli took the Sharon over the line and out of bounds. He gets vitriol from a Lion supporter with a beer and a scarf. Contested possessions strongly in the Dogs' favour. Plus 18 overall. Starting to even up the inside 50 count as well. Dunkley tries to have his way with Birchall. Got a handball forward. They mob Starcevic, and the mob do their job, and we'll have a ball up. 35 out.
It's 4 in a row in the game the Dogs' way. After the Lions had kicked 4 in a row prior to that. Ruckman shared it. Liberatore underneath, out near Bailey Smith. He was in such a hurry. He ended up drag lines off it. Got the kick to the teeth of goal. Norton couldn't quite mark against Adams. Coleman came charging through. Vandermeer ended up with a footies in the tackle. He got it to his boot to avoid the whistle. Treloar tries to open up an opportunity near the teeth of goal. Shaki prodded it out the side. Not a bad idea. Hunter edged off it by Charlie Cameron, serving in defence. Robertson to Adams. Every man must serve, but the kick on the way out goes straight to Eastonwood. It's the Dogs who are laying siege at the moment. Wood sets it up. English had a ride. He couldn't hang on to the mark. Vandermeer down to Bailey Smith. Off to Treloar. Ran straight into McCluggage. Lost the footy. Mitch Robinson out to Gardner. Clears the area for the Lions. It pitches and runs at the boundary and over. They can reset at halfway in front of the interchange gates for Quickaz. They know freight, quickaz.com.au. All manner of instruction coming from Chris Fagan. They're under siege, the Lions, and they're down by 8.
They've had the last 5 inside 50s, the Bulldogs. 71 plays 63. English beaten that time by McInerney. It gets out wide for Bailey. A hand pass away, but an obstacle right in Robertson's face was Dunkley doing the hard things to the very end. And it's smothered over the line and out of bounds.
Well, once again, this gives the Lions forwards an opportunity to get forward of the football. We saw Charlie Cameron in the back 50 or in the back pocket for a couple of minutes.
Nick Del Santo for car sales. Everything you ought to know from the throw. McInerney dumped the hand pass with Starcevic caught. Gee, I didn't know it was actually tackled then. I mean, it just sort of fell out, but the umpire has adjudicated that it is a free kick, and it's going to Lewis Young, who goes short, making it a teammate's job, Lockie Hunter, to kick the ball into the 50. He's normally pretty good with his crafty kicks. Can he tee this one up to the right spot? It goes deep, but McInerney read the incoming footy and takes the saving mark. It's all about defence at the moment for the Lions. They've got to withstand what the Dogs are throwing at it and find a way forward.
So McInerney out of the back pocket, takes the territory and kicks to the contest. No mark taken. Underfoot, Robertson knocked it, and it was taken by Zach Bailey. He pulled up on the wing and then fed the hand pass back near Robertson. He set him a hell of a task. Zorko worked it around with Fullerton and Robinson, and now Starcevic. The Lions work it forward, and up comes McCarthy. How did he take that mark 3 deep? He's going to soak up all the pressure and take the set shot from every bit of 50 metres.
Hasn't had his biggest night. Link McCarthy just coming up for disposal number 9. He's kicked the 1 goal. His ability to twist his body in air there, Jared, to take that grab was a thing of beauty. But here's the important part coming up.
Chris Fagan can barely look.
That chewing gum's getting an absolute flogging at the moment.
The crowd will tell him if Link McCarthy has got this online. McCarthy, full momentum, 51 outs. It's away to the right and fades for a behind. The Lions are down by 7 on the Victoria Police's Recruiting Now scoreboard. Search police careers.
Caleb Daniel, reliable hands and a reliable foot normally. Brings it back into play. Takes the distance. It's a 7-point margin they enjoy at the moment. Off McInerney's hands, grabbed by Hannon, and he just thrusts it forward, end on end. An uncomfortable wait for Harris Andrews. Joe Hannison was close in attendance, but he had the backup of Starcevic, and the hands seems to be the mode at the moment. It's hands, off to Robinson, then a kick down the line. Williams spoiled, McCarthy collects it just inside the line. It's the Bulldogs with a serious heat. Danaher versus Keith, and Duray is there as the extra body takes it out.
So we've got 11 minutes to play, and the style of this game won't change. There'll be the opportunity to maybe maintain possession when you get a moment of reprieve, but it's going to be yardage. Both teams just happy to get it out of their danger zone and set up behind it.
Stomachs starting to tighten. Crowd want to play their part. It's deep in Brisbane's attacking area. Young did a good job to stop McInerney ripping it out of the ruck. Now they go at it multiple times. Duray and Bontempelli. They get the job done. There's a Carlton supporter cheering and yelling. We've got to barrack for someone, I guess, doesn't he, in the finals in September. Chris Fagan, he looks like he's about to explode. His team trail by 7. They have their opportunity here on the 50. McInerney this time a left-handed tap. Duray denied access for Charlie Cameron. McCarthy kept it in. Bailey just trying to dab it over the top. It didn't come good. Fulton with a handball. Zorko went to ground, crashing through Gardner. Young was slick. Dunkley kicked it as quick as he can. A pivotal contest. They both lost their footing. Gardner hung on to hand and he should have given away a free. Play on the call. Starcevic, oh, what a tackle from Treloar. Bailey Smith, he took the moment. Impetuous left foot kick and gave Shaki no chance. No chance whatsoever. And Harris Andrews kicks to Starcevic.
And straight through the middle for Zach Bailey. Halfway through the final term. The Lions are down by 7. They flare out the far side for Robinson, who dabs it up to half forward. Mark is taken and they can set the field up deep. It's McCarthy who's had a productive few minutes. He thumps it to full forward. McInerney flies. Danaher down. Wrong-footed himself. Hooked it around the corner. Fullerton! The understudy forwards are coming to the fore. Shaki at one end. Fullerton at the other. He's got it 15 out directly in front.
Only kicked 3 goals in his career. 2 of them have come this year. In a position where you should not miss from, whether you are a good kick or a dreadful kick.
The magnitude of the moment to navigate. Tom Fullerton to make it a 1-point ball game. He does. The Lions strike back. 9 minutes and 12 seconds remain at the Gabba on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock. It's the Bulldogs 10-11-71. The Lions 10-10-70 for Victoria Police apply now. How did Joe Danaher? He went the wrong way at Albuquerque and he just had to lob it to the top of the square.
He thought he was going to go on his right, then realised that didn't work, so he turned back on himself and then just hooked one across his body on his preferred left foot. And young Fullerton in the position where you should be. As it comes down the line, they all went for it. Joe wants to get out the back. He's done that a couple of times tonight. Hasn't flown, but tried to sneak out the back. This is a game of yardage. This will come down to a moment. We saw the fumble and the slip in the middle of the ground. It was like a Fraser Brown on Dean Wallace tackle in the middle of the ground. It's all happening.
Just a bit early, Del. 9 minutes remaining. They are going to be a packed 9 minutes, that's for sure. The Dogs hang on by one at the moment. They scrap and scrounge in the middle. It fell for Lyons. The kick is quick and it's marked by Harris Andrews. On one leg, he's been thrust forward. So Fagan has made the move late.
He's gone to the wrong end of the ground after the last goal, Hutto.
Oh, Harris Andrews. He started forward in the last centre bounce and he comes out. He read the flight of the ball on the rush kick. And this man who has been a defender all his AFL career,
only kicked 10 in his career.
10 in his career. He's still only 24. His coach once said, we're not the Harris Andrews Football Club. And his kick misses to the left and ties up the ball game. 10-11-71. Oh, what a finish.
Oh, there's so long to go. Dale kicked it in long. Kamikaze stuff on the wing from Norton, and there's carnage in the aftermath of it. Wood around to Daniel. At half-back, it was Mitch Robinson who wore all the contact. He peels himself up as Daniel gets under his kick to halfway, and it's spiked away by Cockatoo out of bounds. So what price a bit of composure in all of this? Yeah. Composure will be hard to find in the last 8 minutes.
It'll be that moment where composure is applicable. So at the moment, it's long down the line. That's your safest option. But there will be a time that option will be on just to maintain possession.
Scores a level. Thrown in. Ruckman both go to ground. Liberatore threw it. He threw it between the legs. It's Lions' ball. He spreads it to Neil, who got forward to the play. Has a look inside 50. Sets it up. Up goes McCarthy. Dropped the mark. Andrews paddles it on. Robertson right in the pocket. Daniel conjured it away and sees it over the boundary for a throw in. McCarthy threatens every time it goes in at the moment.
Yep, he's setting himself for another big grab. Just missed that one. He had hands to it.
Lions looking to break the deadlock. Chris Fagan has played the master move. There's no fool like an old fool. He sent Harris Andrews forward. McInerney knocks it down underfoot where it's disputed by Dunkley and Neil, and it will be balled up.
Liberatore and Neil. It's Dunkley watching Neil now as English got the tap in his vicinity. Coming through, Zach Bailey threatened, but he was smothered. McCluggage has a crack. It was always going to be the most difficult shot off the left boot. Now, it's out on the floor. It must have hit the post, I reckon. Alex Keith was quick to say that had hit the post because that would have been the point that put them in front. Instead, it remains all tied up. 7 minutes 11 on the Makita clock.
Just been handed the extra time rules.
I'm glad you have. Good work, Joel. Duray kicks and Norton marks a commanding one at that. At half-back. Plays it short to Bailey Smith. Do tell. Smith kicks along the line. Leicester played spoiler. Kept it away from the danger of Johannesen or Hannon. And it's over and out. We're down to 6:50.
2 3-minute halves if required, Hutto. 2 3-minute halves.
I'd forgotten that. I thought it was 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was 5 or 10.
It's been adjusted.
Okay, McInerney got the tap. We're still at half forward. We're down to 6:45. Lions slides in. The ball was tucked under there. And the Dogs get it over and out.
And then golden goal? Where do we go?
No. We've reverted to double overtime now.
Penalty shootout.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lions have hit 70 points for Brisbane. That means that
sure what sort of announcement that is.
That's great.
Most irrelevant from the throw-in. McInerney had his way with English. Rourke Smith was onto it, made the superb smother. McCluggage to Coleman, brilliantly tackled by Hunter. He was the Hunter that time. He won the free. Norton's in the goal square. Shaki leads and doubles back. It's to the top of the square. It's Norton. It's Hannon. It's Gardner with the crumbs. He gave it to Cockatoo, who was calm and kicked well to Danaher. And Danaher takes the mark in the back pocket.
That was a good kick, wasn't it? So Danaher to control the flow of play. He unloads down the far wing. There's a free kick in the back play. Dogs free kick as they were forming up for the marking contest. It's against Charlie Cameron and it's to Gardner. Yes, a clear block. So Ryan Gardner with footy in hand right at halfway. Daniel wraps around to receive the hand pass and then pulls the trigger on the kick up to the 50. Bontempelli flew over the top of the Big O.
Wow.
Who did grab it first, but not enough to the satisfaction to be paid the man in front.
Let's have a look at that on the replay. Big O is in front. Bont comes up from behind.
Man in front, I'm afraid.
It's either a ball up or Big O's
If you've
ball.
both got a share of it, it has to be the man in front. Bontempelli with a lucky one. Can he take full toll from 50 out? It's across the face. It will score.
It's his fourth behind.
Yeah, spot on, Hutto.
The Dogs lead by that score on the Victoria Police Supply Now scoreboard. AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans, 72 plays 71. 5 minutes and 10 seconds remain, Hutto.
And that's the second time in the last couple of minutes Bontempelli has rolled forward really aggressive to try and find a mismatch forward of the football.
So the onus is now on Brisbane, and it's a wonky kick from Rich. It was short to Robinson, who partially cleaned it up. Got it to Birchall. Rich wanted to rectify it himself. He does with a long kick to a one-on-one. Harris Andrews, he should have been full forward all his life. Well, maybe to take the mark anyway. I'm not sure about the kick. His mind is rushing. Now he takes the kick. He gets it deep. Danaher is coming. He flew over the top of the pack, didn't mark. It remains dangerous. Oh, Caleb Daniel kicked it out of the air. I don't think you can call it deliberate. He has. He's just kicked it out of the air. Well, it could have gone anywhere. It's gone insufficient intent. I don't know how he can really call that.
We need this to be behind because they'd be two errors, one at either end, responsible for each behind.
Lockie Neal was really quick to get over there and pick up the football, then realised it was Charlie Cameron beside him, then tried to hand it off to a better kick.
So Lockie Neal, he starts a metre and a half inside the boundary line. There are big kicks in football. And that was one, but he couldn't get the angle right, and it is 10-12, 72 apiece, and nobody can do it at the moment. So is it going to be a big name, or is it going to be a bit player?
Well, we've had Brownlow medalists duelling there with behinds if Bont is to go that way in a couple of weeks' time. So the umpire errors are cancelled out. The scores are level. Daniel kicks it in long. It's to be contested near the wing. Adams did a great job to knock it down. Robinson got barrelled by Norton, not for the first time. Williams paddled it to his own advantage and then kicked straight to Rich. So the Lions rebound. Rich's kick is a good one to Adams. Up at halfway. Thought about giving it to Robinson on the boundary side. Now takes the more direct route. Out for Charlie. Reaching up. Eastonwood brought it to ground. He paddles. Didn't quite clear it. It came off a couple of toes and rolled out the way of Mitch Robinson, who gave up trying to pick it up and socketed it off the ground instead. McInerney dispossessed by Liberatore. The ruckman is happy to find the boundary. Throw it in.
As lively as Charlie Cameron has been, I just get a feeling it might be Link McCarthy's moment. He's launched at a few footballs.
Dale's playing the prediction game. I love it.
Hope it pays off.
Left half forward for the Lions. Scores are level. 3:48 left in regulation. Hoiked into play. McInerney takes it clean. Hand passes it forward. Fullerton knocks it down. Here's McCarthy. Onto it. Gathered. Shot it off to the side. Danaher spinning through. Got it to Zorko. Fired and missed the lot. He missed the lot. No balance or time or poise, and it floated away and missed to the right of the goal. Scores stay level.
Chris Fagan does not know what to feel. Tracksuit done up tightly as Gardner kicks with 3 minutes 29 to go. Rich judged it superbly. Bulldogs claim it was touched, and the umpire agrees. So it's a ball up almost on the wing. 10-12-72 Brisbane. 10-12-72 the Western Bulldogs. Preliminary final at stake. The ball thrown up and hit the ground before the ruckman got there. Liberatore takes it out. No, kept it in. No, he didn't. He took it out. And the boundary umpire has the responsibility with the next touch. You can see it on the faces all around the Gabba, the players, the coaches, the crowd. There's fingers pointing everywhere. It almost came off the head of the ruckman, McInerney. A lunge from Neil. McCluggage goes one way. Neil a telling handball. Couldn't take it, McCluggage. Now he's diving forward. He's tackled. I reckon it's in the back. It's in the back to Lockie Neal. We're under 3 minutes to go. Scores are tied at the Gabba. Lockie Neal has the football, the full contemplation. It's 50. No, it's downfield. No, it's the Bulldogs. It's a Bulldogs free on the wing. It was against
the play.
McCarthy for dumping Keith. Yep.
So where the footy was, it'll change hands.
Yep. And it goes to Liberatore.
Well, what an opportunity for the Dogs. Defensive side of the middle. Liberatore's told to go. Off a step. He launches to half forward. Lions have got 3 in the air. What's underfoot? They've got numbers there as well. Zorko, not a great hand pass though. Back into dispute. Dale just lay on that footy. That's holding the ball every day of the week except when it scores a level and there's 2:24 to go in a semi-final.
Well, I don't know why Zorko tried to bypass the Rich handball.
Bont's hurt.
He is crumpled and surrounded by medical staff. Liberatore trying everything to knock it on, and he does. Johannesson inside 50. Lester folds back in front of Norton. Ball is loose. Hannon hit it hard to Bailey Smith. Can he score? He does. He has kicked a goal. Bailey Smith breaks the deadlock in the forward pockets. A much more convincing kick than his earlier one in the term. And the Dogs lead it by 6. There was some exaggerated celebration in all of that, which the meaning might come out as time goes along.
I'm guessing it's ice in my veins would be the indication of what he was doing there. That left-footed kick from the boundary line.
So that's 3 for Bailey Smith in the game.
Oh,
wow.
And the Victoria Police Supply now scoreboard 11-12 to 10-12.
Victoria Police is recruiting now. Search police careers.
How good a kick from the boundary.
Incredible finish. Left foot running towards the boundary line. Started the game on fire. Luke Beveridge, and I think that's Stephen King beside him, the assistant coach.
I think if saying you're to get vaccinated, bro, you can. Oh, the Bont's, this is terrible. The Bont's in real pain.
Yep.
His knee is, it looks serious. And they're in front by 6 and maybe headed for a preliminary final. Not yet, though, as they restart in the middle. There's bodies everywhere. Liberatore couldn't get connection. Ball, they shout. In your boots, says the umpire. Over the top goes Zorko. He's claimed by Dunkley. Prolonged appeals. And Matt Stevick, the man of last week, Cooley comes in. The Bont looks better, but he doesn't look like he's going to be a spectator to the end, I suspect. His team's in front for now. The ruckman lock hands, whatever energy they got left. Tap down to McRae. He kicks it forward. One more might do it for the Bulldogs, but Gardner was the last man standing. He quickly identifies what's ahead. It's a challenging mark. McCarthy used his height. They plot the path. A handball to McCluggage. It's high. The Dogs knock each other over. It spills from Cameron. Zach Bailey. He's done it before, all the time in the world. He was never going to miss. Bailey on ice and scores a level at the Gabba. Oh, this place, it delivers every single time. There's still 1:14 to go. How good.
The mark on centre wing from McCarthy's. The handball comes off. It's just this surge mentality. Dogs have got the extra number behind the football. Little tap up from Charlie.
Oh, what a step.
And Bailey weaves away through the traffic.
Keep it together, Dal.
Centre bounce goals have been the determining factor, and there's a minute 14 for either side to conjure the winner.
Joel's just had a heart attack out the back. Get the heart pills, Jolly.
78 each of two. An extraordinary semi-final on AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. Bounced in the centre of the Gabba. High ball. Neither ruckman touched it. Free kick against McInerney to English for shepherding the Dogs ruckman away. English, he's got to go. Gets under the kick. Dogs converge. It clears Hannon. All Bailey Smith almost onto it. Ball is loose. Vandermeer trickles it through from behind. Just as Link McCarthy did in the same spot to claim a place in the top four. Rich, go!
It's all go, straight down the middle. To the middle, the Dogs try and get the spoil on the Bulldogs, but it's thrust forward by McCarthy. Here goes Cameron, kicks it out in front of Duray. It's up to you, Duray! Duray was able to get it to the line. They plead to the umpire. This time,
well done,
he holds. And it's going to be a throw-in. The Bulldogs lead by 1 point. But Brisbane are deep in attack.
And they know how to get this behind, Hutto. You've called this before.
It's a throw-in the forward pocket. McInerney at English. The tap down McInerney. Where's Cameron? He's deprived of the ball. Caleb Daniel kicked it, could have gone anywhere. It went to Rourke Smith. And he takes the mark with 20 seconds. The clock is counting down, and the clock doesn't care.
Long on the way out. Territory is the Dogs' friend. They all fly. Spiked away by Adams. McCarthy off to Zorko. Kicked it out on the full. He had to hook it to the teeth of goal, and it went out on the full. They displaced the Dogs in the tightest of circumstances at the end of the home and away. And at the end of a breathtaking semi-final, it's the Dogs who are going to topple the Lions and take their place in the Final Four. An extraordinary semi-final. The Dogs win it at the Gabba. It's delirium for them. On the field and in the box, they found a way. The Vandermeer behind becomes part of folklore at Whitten Oval. And they go on to face Port Adelaide in a prelim. And for the Lions, it's gut-wrenching again at home. They're out in straight sets. The Lions led it by 11 at quarter time. It was the Dogs by a point at half time. The Lions by 10 at three-quarter time. And the Dogs by 1 at the close. 11-13-79 to the Lions, 11-12-78. And Chris Fagan's seen a lot in footy, but he hasn't quite seen anything like that. And he sits on the bench with his hands behind his head, trying to take it all in.
Concerns for the PCL of Marcus Bonton.
Yeah, it was in that significant marking contest at the half-forward line for the Dogs. He is moving, he's up and walking, which is a great sign for the skipper, who had a really solid performance. He's limping a tiny bit, it must be said, Hutto.
No, he knows. You can see it in his body language. He knows.
What a performance. What a game. We sat here before the game dissecting it or trying to work out what was going to happen, and we openly said it's a flip of the coin. You can justify an answer for both teams, and we're sitting here right now.
And I reckon as neutrals, not only did you not know who was going to win, you didn't really know who you wanted to win. I had no idea who I wanted to win. I feel shattered for Brisbane, but just as ecstatic for the Dogs.
11-13-79 the Dogs over the Lions, 11-12-78.
2 weeks ago at this ground, Link McCarthy scrapes in that behind to get them into that position for top four, and they miss 2 behinds. One hits the behind post, doesn't register a score. And then Dane Zorko kicks a floater out under pressure, it must be said, with a few minutes to go, that fades out to the right and therefore doesn't score. That being the margin just the 1 point. Chris Fagan's moved about 5 metres.
He's bereft at the end of it all. What do they say? What you lose on the swings, you win on the roundabouts.
Zorko upset, annoyed even.
And Luke Beveridge is ecstatic. Down with the support staff as he makes his way toward the players. So 4-2 in the final term. They were down by 18 points, the Dogs, in time on of the third term. I've never seen Chris Fagan quite like it. Think about the extremes of what it was at the end of the home and away, and it's the inverse of that now. There's just so much to take in out of all of that. Desperate final quarter, really. It happened early for the Dogs in the term. So for the winners, Bailey Smith kicked 3, 2 in the final term.
Including the great goal.
2 for Liberatore, singles to McRae, Shackey, Waitman, Hannon, Norton and Johannesson. 3 for Charlie Cameron, all in the opening term. Bailey kicked 2 with singles to Danaher, Robinson, McCluggage, McCarthy, Fullerton and Leicester. The Dogs by 1 point in the semi-final.
The good news is for Brooks' family, Joel has been resuscitated out the back and he's okay.
You look at some of the performances for the Dogs in particular in that last quarter. Bailey Smith, he has 9 disposals, kicks those 2 goals, uses the ball really well, going at 71%. McRae continues to do what he does. They win the tackle count for the first quarter of the game, 21-14. The clearance is 13-8 in the last quarter, so they completely controlled that area after half-time. An amazing final quarter of football, but probably more than that. The last 10 minutes, which was the same style, was just get your yardage, try and set up really strongly behind it, just get your weight of numbers through your entries. And then ultimately a couple of opportunities. Bailey Dale once again, one on the right foot. Not his best kick, one on his left foot, possibly the best kick of his life. And they run away with a 1-point victory.
Blimey, there's a toll to it. It's Waitman out of the game with concussion, so he's out next week. We'll hear from Bontempelli shortly, but to read the body language was to think that he knows his knee's no good and he won't be part of a prelim. But for the Lions, it's much worse. It's much, much worse. So it's 3 seasons of finishing in the top 4, out in straight sets twice, a qualifying final win and a bad defeat in a preliminary final. So they don't have much to show for it through 3 years of giving themselves a look. And the prelims are set. It's Melbourne and Geelong on Friday night, Port Adelaide and the Western Bulldogs on Saturday nights. And a high bar to meet in the aftermath of that.
You said sometimes semi-finals aren't the best game.
Sometimes.
You too? Sometimes.
There's been a couple of good ones.
That was riveting. We got, I think, 8 goals, 7 in the first quarter, so it opens up with a bang. Then the coaches and the players shut the game down for a half, and then it's just nail-biting football for the last 30 minutes. Jackson McRae's first goal to start the last quarter I thought was so significant to bring the margin back to 4 points. If it went the other way, it would have felt like it was really difficult for the Dogs, as it would have gone to 16 and a really hard road back from there. It's a really difficult position to be in from a Lions perspective. It wasn't through lack of effort. It wasn't poor application. It's just one of those games where the moments come down and become so significant from an individual's perspective.
To not concede the tying behind at the end.
Yeah.
Duray had to hold Charlie Cameron at bay and he
Yep.
was off.
Yeah.
Like the sheer speed of Charlie, you would have thought his worst result was a behind, and then Zorko had it and tried to hook it at the goal front and hit the wrong part of the footy and kicked it out on the full. So even having had Vandermeer tip the scales in their favour, it takes a couple of big efforts at the end to protect that last point. They're great, especially away from home in a win like this. It's just the players and the skeleton staff. It'll be a song full of meaning for the Dogs. Dogs by a point into the preliminary final. We'll hear from Marcus Bontempelli and run you through the how and the why with the awards coming up. The post-game show is for Rainbird. Rainbird, smarter irrigation, the intelligent use of water.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Victoria Police. Victoria Police is recruiting now. Search Police Careers.
The Monopoly game at Macca's is back, and it's time to get in the game. There's $616 million in prizes to win, like a Volkswagen T-Cross, Red Balloon, gift vouchers and more. Peel and scan to win at Macca's today. End October 19. Full terms at mcdonalds.com.au.
It's time to make the call and switch to Kogan Mobile, because right now you can get started with Kogan from just $4.90 for 30 days. Yep, just $4.90 for 30 days. Thousands of Aussies have already made the call and switched for unlimited calls and texts and a big 40 gig of data at award-winning prepaid prices. Get started now with Kogan Mobile from just $4.90 for the first 30 days at koganmobile.com.au/footy.
Tilers and renovators, Beaumont Tiles are celebrating hard-working tradies with their biggest giveaway ever. Win a share of 100 grams worth of RLA, RDEX and DTA products. Shop in store or enter online at iCanWin.com.au. Ends midnight October 25.
Does getting a low doc loan feel a little like a draft pick? You're not sure if you'll get on the team? With Liberty's low doc loan, self-employed borrowers can rest easy. Offering flexible finance options for business owners, Liberty can help you kick your financial goals sooner. Liberty, official partner of the Essendon Football Club. Visit liberty.com.au today. That's liberty.com.au. Approved applicants only. Lending criteria apply.
I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. The only thing worse than Dad's jokes is paying too much this Father's Day. Chemist Warehouse have the biggest range of big brand fragrances, like Davidoff Cool Water 125ml, $26.99. Ralph Lauren Polo Red 30ml, $34.99. Hugo Boss Bottle 100ml, $49.99. And Dior Sauvage 60ml, $99.99. Make Dad smile this Father's Day with a big brand fragrance. Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Sexyland stores are still open for click and collect and 2-hour delivery. Head to sexyland.com.au to browse Australia's largest range of adult toys, from new season vibes to fun games for grown-ups. Sexyland, always open for you online 24/7 at sexyland.com.au and taking phone orders on 1800 885 239.
Take me now, I'm coming. Take me now, Sexyland.
Steve, are you still looking for a new forklift?
Yes, why?
Crown have a great range of quality second-hand forklifts.
Like what?
Oh, like their Encore range of reconditioned forklifts that are as good as new, with the same warranty as a new one for a lot less money. Or their range of certified used forklifts, which offer unbelievable value. And you get guaranteed reliability and superior quality.
I'll call Crown today.
Crown's second-hand forklifts, the right forklift for any budget.
There is nothing like a Crown.
Check them out at crown.com or call 131 604.
Whether you're a die-hard Demon supporter or a Bulldogs tragic, every footy fan knows in finals there are no guarantees. If you really want to back a winner this September, back a camel. A thirsty camel, that is, with specials like Great Northern Super Crisp 24-pack just $47.99, or Jim Beam White Double Serve and Canadian Club Premium 10-packs only $43.99 this week. Find your local bottle shop at thirstycamel.com.au. T's and C's apply. Hydrate responsibly.
At Rolled Vietnamese, we don't mind how you eat as long as it's fresh. We're talking Vietnamese dinner, like Mum made, without the messy kitchen, but all the love. So go on, bite into banh mi, crunch soldiers, slurp pho. Eat bao with your hands. Talk with your mouth full of gai. Keep your elbows on the table. That's how we roll. Rolled, fast, fresh Vietnamese. Download the Rolled app to order now.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
You need to tell all the Western Bulldog supporters at home, how's the knee?
Yeah, should be all right. Initial tests and whatnot are pretty good. Just landed kind of awkwardly and then, a bit fell across the leg. So I was a bit ginger initially, so rather than limp around out there, probably right thing was just interchange.
Exactly right. There's a lot of supporters around us that was very worried about you.
Yeah.
I think they'll remain worried throughout the week, but we'll see.
Will we have a race against time, Jerry?
Well, we clearly will have a race to tell the truth against time, or just a physical race against time. This is the AFL Nation post-game wrap from Rainbirds. Smarter irrigation, the intelligent use of water. We'll be on all the way through till 11. Dwayne Russell, Andy Marr, Adam Cooney as well. So there's a bit to do here, Dal. The final score, 11-13-79, the Bulldogs over the Brisbane Lions, 11-12-78. Give me the hanger of the day, hangmytv.com.au, because that's what they do.
There wasn't a lot of brilliant hangs, but the one that I loved the most was the Hugh McCluggage mark in the third quarter against the behind post. He positioned himself really well, juggled it, and ultimately landed on his own tummy, which was fortunate. And then he went back and kicked the goal, but I thought that was more the mark of the day.
The toughest player for Happy Tint. Happy Tint, your home, your office, your car. Happy Tint. Got happytint.com.au.
I think sometimes this man goes underrated for how tough he is, and it's Jackson McRae. So of his 38 disposals, 19 of them were contested. In a game where it was very scrappy, the ball was on the ground a lot, he was forced into those positions. I thought he was significant, so he can have that award tonight.
My God, there were 30 minutes worth of unmissable moments for Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. How are you going to narrow it down to one or two?
Can I? All right, well, there is multiple, but I'm going to go with the free kick reversal. So the ball is on centre wing for the Brisbane Lions. Mitch Robinson is about to kick the ball in with a few minutes to go. It is reversed, a free kick against the Lions in the goal square against McCarthy. It goes back to where the ball was. Ultimately, that ball gets kicked forward for the Dogs, which results in the Bailey Smith left-footed goal from the boundary line. That was an unmissable moment.
It really was. It really was. The votes with their stats for safety steel sheds designed to save, built to last. It's not the easiest game to put together, is it?
No, it's not. So some of the numbers, and just to give this some perspective, some of the numbers for the Dogs are off the charts, huge numbers, but the influence probably not as much as some of the individuals I would have thought for the Lions. So I'm going to go the one vote, Hugh McCluggage, who had 28 disposals. 10 of those were contested. He had 5 clearances. He's also had 7 inside 50s. So he can have the one vote. I might need to just quickly find a 2, Jared, as I'm working through some of the options. I'm going to give, I don't want to go to 3 straight away, but I'm going to go, let's go with Bailey Smith. I think that's fair given his last quarter, which he had 9 disposals. So Bailey Smith can have the 2 votes, 27 disposals. He kicked 3 goals. He had a handful of contested possessions, a lot of clearances as well. And I'm going to go with Jackson McRae, who I spoke about pre-game, who's death by 1,000 cuts. So just his pure weighted numbers has an overall influence on the game. His first half was enormous. So he's finished up with a total of 38 disposals, 19 of them contested. He's had 11 clearances, 4 tackles and 10 inside 50s and also 1 goal. And that goal was so significant to start the last quarter, to put them within reach and to get them to give the Dogs that momentum. So how could I not go past Jackson McRae again? 3
to McRae, 2 to Bailey Smith and 1 to McCluggage. The prelims next week. 40 Winks serious about sleep. The 40 Winks sleep event of the year has been extended. It's Melbourne and Geelong in the West on Friday night. And then in Adelaide on Saturday night, it'll be Port Adelaide and the Western Bulldogs. A shout out for Ringers Western from a Kimberley cattle station to the commentary box, ringerswestern.com. You're going to pick up with Dwayne, Andy and Coons in a moment. They'll be taking your calls, I'm sure. The post-game show for Rainbird Smarter Irrigation, the intelligent use of water.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
The Kogan Money Credit Card is full of value with no annual fees, amazing rewards and a complimentary Kogan First membership giving you cheaper deals and free shipping at Kogan.com. And right now you can earn up to $400 Kogan.com credit when you meet the spend requirements. Plus earn up to 2 cents worth of Kogan.com credit for every dollar of eligible spend. So make the switch to a better value credit card today at koganmoney.com.au/footy.
Offer ends September 30th, 2021. T's and C's credit criteria apply.
Product issuer and credit provider Citigroup Pty Ltd.
Imagine the convenience of buying your new car from the comfort of your own home. With Hyundai's Click to Buy, you can shop online. We've made it easy to compare models, configure your Hyundai, and make a deposit online through our secure Click to Buy process. So, whether you're after the remarkable i30, the impressive 8-seat Palisade, or the seriously fun Kona, you can shop online with Hyundai. Search Hyundai Click to Buy for details. T's and C's apply, subject to stock availability. Speak to your Hyundai dealer for details.
Hey, Barry! Those whack jobs at Athena Home Loans are giving away $100,000 to pay down someone's loan. Didn't they get the memo? Mortgages are about tying people down, not some Oprah episode. Hello, bank.
Hi, Athena are giving
me the
Apply now and get approved for an Athena loan for your chance to win $100,000 towards your home loan. There's never been a better time to switch. Visit athena.com.au to apply and for competition dates and terms. Athena, love us and leave us. Standard credit criteria applies.
Tilers and renovators, Beaumont Tiles are celebrating hardworking tradies with their biggest giveaway ever. Win a share of 100 grand's worth of RLA, RDEX and DTA products. Shop in store or enter online at iCanWin.com.au. Ends midnight October 25.
When they're on the road, truckies have no time to waste, so a flat tyre can be a real letdown. Fortunately, Tyre Right is a member of the best truck emergency roadside tyre service in Australia. So if you've blown a tyre, no matter where you are, give them a call and they'll get you back trucking fast. And they have Australia's largest tyre selection, including steer, drive, trailer and more. Say good day to your local Tyre Right store or call 138 168 to find out more. They won't be beaten on any advertised price. No trucking worries. TyreRight.com.au.
It's never been more important to buy Australian than right now. Our local manufacturers and growers produce world-class products known for their quality, safety and reliability, all while generating local jobs, supporting our communities and helping Australian families now and into the future. So look for the trusted green and gold kangaroo logo. Buy Australian now. Visit australianmade.com.au.
Hey, it's Jordan Lewis here. I was lucky enough to win 4 premierships, but I still remember my first game as a rookie. I needed all the advice I could get. So, if you're after an apprenticeship but need the same kind of expert help, you can't go past MEGT. MEGT is Australia's largest and only national apprenticeship network provider, making them your true local apprenticeship experts. With MEGT, a winning career could be yours. So check out their free job board today. Just go to MEGT.com.au or call 13MEGT.
In this week's AFL Record, we preview the cutthroat semi-finals and look at the drama from the opening weeks of finals. And we celebrate and profile Geelong's new games record holder, Joel Selwood. Plus, check out the kids page, answer man and team lists for every game. Brought to you by 4 and 20, Australia's original fan food. The AFL Records Semi-Finals Edition. Available at Coles, Coles Express, newsagents and sen.com.au.
Okay, guys, Father's Day is this Sunday. And all every dad wants this year is All Day Socks by Underworks. Available at alldaysocks.com and all leading supermarkets.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
Either way, in the end, it was the Western Bulldogs who prevailed bravely against the Brisbane Lions. They wouldn't have won it without Tommy Liberatore. In unusual circumstances, he kicks 2 first-quarter goals, snaps around the body. He does what he has to do thereafter. Remarkable performance by him and his teammates, and he's been good enough to join us here on AFL Nation right across the country. Great to have the SEN audience with us as well. Tommy, congratulations, mate. Hell of a performance by your footy team.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it was incredible. Very intense finish. Those 2 ones that went out the full and then, I don't know, yeah. It was, it's a ridiculous finish.
What did it feel it's Andy Marr, Dwayne Russell and Adam Cooney up here, mate.
Yeah.
To our eye, but for a couple of moments here and there where a bit of the heat came out of the game, it looked incredibly intense. Incredibly fast. Did it feel like that to you?
Well, yeah, of course. I'm not the fastest bloke in the country, so but because of the conditions and because of how much it spilled out and how high the pressure was, it was just hard to judge. It bobbled around a fair bit, and then you could seem like you're out, but yeah, it just turned into a contested game in the end. But it was too quick.
Yeah, Tommy, talk us through the last quarter. It was up and back. I felt after about halfway through the second quarter that you guys had the edge, certainly around the stoppages and the clearance game. Just talk us through the last 10 minutes about how you're trying to think and execute under so much pressure when there's so much on the line.
Yeah, well, I think initially it was sort of just dependent on the score. And when it was a draw, I think we just had to surge the whole time and just basically put your head in the hole and do basic stuff really, and just get the ball, get the territory game going. And then when we went ahead, we went tried to put a few behind the ball, but that lasted about 4 seconds. So, so then it changed again. So sort of remember what the score was.
And how do we keep Bailey Smith in check this week? That was some sort of finish on the left.
Yeah, I think we're lucky we're in quarantine, I think so we'll keep them under wraps.
What sort of influence do you reckon Timmy English had? We know there's been, the 50-50 split between him and Lewis Young. After probably halfway through that second quarter when English did most of it for you thereafter, Tommy, tell us from your perspective what sort of influence you reckon he had on the game?
I think it was a very... he had a pretty big influence in terms of his follow-up. Initially, the centre bounce, he managed to stop McInerney fairly well, and then I think his follow-up as well. He got back in the flight a few times, and his competitive nature there was pretty good. So, he had a massive influence over the game along.
And where were you when that when it's up and back? And I don't even know what the scoreline was at the time. I think you're up by a point. Scores might have been level. I can't even remember now, but the ball finds its way inside their forward 50. I don't know where you were on the ground, but it's Cameron v. Doc down there, and we've been seeing what Charlie's doing to everybody when he had him one-on-one tonight, and he could get out the back. What were you thinking when you saw Duray up against Cameron at that stage?
Oh, mate, I couldn't have emphasised more for Doc. But I don't know. He found a way. I remember how good he was against Tapley, and he's just as well up to it as Cameron. So, so it was pretty nervy as the ball went out the back. Like you see Cameron go, and the crowd's going nuts. But Doc did unbelievably well. I don't know how he got there.
And a pretty good pickup, Alex Keith has been for you. He has had a huge year and another great game playing on Joe Danaher tonight. How important is he to your premiership chances?
Sorry, what was that? It's with Keithy. So?
Yeah. Yep.
Sir Alex was great.
Sir Alex.
He's been incredible since he just manages to stop him on the lead and compete him there. So I think his versatility, his size and strength as well. He's been super.
How much is left in the petrol tank, Tom? You've had to work your way back into this, 4 weeks before the end of the season. I think a lot of us have got you pegged as premiership favourites. You're on top of the ladder. We know what happened, between then and the end of the season. You got it back against Essendon last week. You've played a classic, tonight. How are your energy levels feeling right now?
No, pretty good. Still pretty big rush after that win. But I certainly think my knees will be keen for a rest for the next few days, I reckon.
Right.
After that, I thought it would be, they got some, that was incredible performance by them as well. So, Neil and Lyons and Zorko, that was, I'll be enjoying a few days off, I reckon.
And how quickly, I don't know what Bevo's like and the other, the coaches around the place, but how quickly do you turn your attention to Port Adelaide? Will that be tomorrow? Will you get into preview mode tomorrow, or will they give you a day off just to rest and recover before you start getting into that sort of preview mode?
I think we've got to pack our bags and get in the plane again. So I'm thinking what we're trying first. So I don't think there's much preview talk going on. We'll leave that for Monday, I reckon.
Mate, well done. Well played. It was a hell of a game. We loved every second of it. We're thrilled for you blokes that you got over the line, and good luck next week. We can't wait to see what you dish up against the Port Adelaide boys. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, mate. Thanks, Greggy.
On you, Tommy.
There you go. Tommy Liberatore.
Did he say they're flying to Perth?
No, they go to Adelaide.
Yeah. I think he just said we're flying to Perth.
Yeah, he probably hang on. No, hang on. They are.
Are they going to Perth and then flying to Adelaide?
And then flying to Adelaide.
Are they? It's going to be one of them. If they do win the flag this year, this trumps 2016 because they're going to have to travel to Brisbane, beat the Lions, travel to Perth to quarantine, recover, travel to Adelaide and beat Port Adelaide, and then travel back to Perth for the grand final.
Yep. Phenomenal.
It's a fair month of footy if they're going to win it from outside the outside the four.
Oh, yeah.
They can do it now.
Think about what they're being asked, like the last 2 years, what these players are being asked to do. And, they're privileged. They're in an unbelievably privileged position to be able to play, and they acknowledge that. But they front up, and then they produce that tonight, and they'd be right if their energy levels were slightly diminished, but they come out tonight and put that on, that sort of show on. They've been pretty remarkable the last 2 years as a cohort, the AFL playing fraternity.
Yeah, it's hard to. I mean, it's enormously tough, and yet that's what they do. So being able to do what you do in this climate, in the COVID era, the opportunity to do what you do is just an opportunity you've got to savour because not everybody's getting to do what they do.
Well, aren't we lucky, though, that they are? Because for 3 hours tonight, numbers soaring on the eastern seaboard, New South Wales and Victoria's in a pretty ordinary state. We've been in this state for a long time.
Yeah.
For 3.5 hours, we just forget it. We forget it. And without footy, we wouldn't be in that position.
Well, how tough was it when the very first lockdown, when the season was put on hold?
Oh, yeah, that's 11 or 12 weeks.
Oh,
yeah.
There was nothing.
We had dice footy. We had dice footy on Drive, mate.
There was dice footy, which probably got
which you would have been listening to.
Got a few through. Yeah.
I'm with you, Andy.
You and Half and Drive.
I'll back up your push for a best of 3 grand final series. Then if you want to keep it going for a little longer,
Wayne wants more footy.
Oh no, it's.
But it's a good point that you make because we don't think about that of what the players go through whatsoever.
No, we don't.
If we had to travel the day of a game get on a plane and go into state. When I was playing, there would have been uproar. Players would have, they would have said, "No, we can't do that. It's